Good afternoon, people. Happy Tuesday. Welcome in, Struggle Buzz, my friend. There we go. Why does it do that? There we go. There we go. There we go. Yeah, yeah. The chin fur likes to occasionally uh uh hang a little to the left. Yeah, that would have been left. Hey, folks, how is everybody doing? I hope folks are doing well today. Hope your weekend was a good one. Hope you had a good Monday. I had a pretty chill one. My weekend was good. We did a live stream with Dave over in Fandible. A good time. I was going to do some streaming on Sunday, some video gaming. Um, but I instead went out for a walk, got a little bit of sunlight, and then played some video games by myself instead, which was nice, which was a very nice way to spend my Sunday. And then yesterday, yes, Mondays I don't stream. I do a bit of housekeeping, and also apparently during Sunday, which is why you're seeing me instead of my usual kind of standing up and banging about. I'm actually sitting down today because I appear to have somehow fucked up my heel on Sunday, which is great. Good fun. Not recommended. 1 out of 5 stars. Do not recommend. Don't fuck up your heel. So it's getting better. It's definitely better today than it was yesterday. But I'm staying off my feet as much as possible to give my heels. It feels like I twisted or sprained something, and sometimes it takes a couple extra days to bounce back. So there I am. Anyway, folks, hello, Phoenix. Welcome in. We are going to continue with Curseborne. Look, we've got 3 days before Halloween, right? It's today, Tuesday, then Wednesday, then Thursday's Halloween. I want to finish Curseborne on Halloween. I think we can do it because we've basically just got the last few families on the sorcerer lineage, and then we're actually just looking at systems, looking at the story guiding chapter, and I think there's an adversaries chapter that just dropped either today or yesterday, and that's it. That's it. I think, especially considering that we're probably going to kind of breeze through a lot of the story guiding chapter. I think we can definitely make it, even at my pace. We can definitely make it by Thursday. Dan, stop breaking yourself, please. Also allow Esme Purrs to do help. No, well, no. First of all, yes, they have. And look, man, I try. I try not to hurt myself. I never leave the apartment except to go for a daily walk, right? And apparently that was a mistake. Um, so yeah, and it sucks because it's just uncomfortable enough that I can't really do a lot of other stuff. So I haven't been able to do my workouts and stuff. Which feels like I'm just immediately, like the moment I'm not doing like my daily 10,000 steps and my 3 times a week strength training exercises, my dumbbells back there. Immediately feels, oh shit, I'm falling apart. I'm falling apart. I am the weakest man to ever live. My body is decaying at top speed. I can see the bits falling off as we speak. Um, so I really do hope that this annoying soreness in my heel, I mean, look at the on the good side, right? On the plus side, you know, I do this. I work from home. Uh, work for certain values of work, but I work from home. So that means I can very much just pretty much stay off my feet. It annoys me though because I've gotten used to just being on my feet all the time. Uh, I feel like a slugger right now. It's not a good time. Not a good time. So let's distract ourselves with some cursing. Is curses set up on the screen? Yes, curses. Let's get out of here. Let's look at the. There we go. That's the one. That's the one. Um, I think it does it just start or does somebody? No, nobody called it recently, so it just does the sound. There we go. It just does the sound when I switch to this screen. Okay, fun. Anyway, let's get back to it, shall we, folks? I have a PDF. It says Curseborne on the cover. Backward draft manuscript. All right, so last week, where did we leave off? We looked at the sorcerers, which is cool, a good time. we read through Kai, and yeah, well, basically what they told us. Right, I think we got right to this part. Like, we aren't like normal people. We saw this. We aren't like other curse. We're just assholes. Good, good, good. And I really liked. Actually, I spoke about this on Saturday with Dave, right? That I really like the curse of sorcerers. That you are cursed to need magic. The curse of sorcerers is that you need magic. Like you need it. You gotta. If you don't cast magic for longer than a day or so, you suffer. Go for a week, you'll bleed out your eyes, etc., etc. So you have to cast magic, but magic requires sacrifice, and it has diminishing returns. So you gotta either sacrifice different things or sacrifice bigger things. And again, it's not always just your own things that you can sacrifice. Magic doesn't care; it just wants to sacrifice. Yeah, this is a hell of a dark spiral, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Um, and let's see here. Yeah, here we got this whole thing. Like, yeah, talking about how the sacrifices are, which I dug a lot, and apparently the inevitable fate of all sorcerers is to end up pyroed, except of course you have a family to help, but also to fuck up, right? And they teach you about magic, they teach you how to do it. They all have, all the families kind of a general agreement: don't use magic to fuck with big things like politics and lives, don't sacrifice humans. So I'm guessing the people that break those rules are the bad guys. So yeah, we like all of this so far. Well, I was looking at something here. Yeah, I guess the rituals to make sacrifice. You perform a ritual, make a sacrifice, get a bit of control of the way magic goes. You can make your sacrifice in advance. Yeah, so I'm real curious. Like, once we get to mechanics, I don't know how much mechanics we're gonna see. Like, all of these have been mostly flavor, but I'm real curious once we get to mechanics what that's gonna look like for them. These rituals, these sacrifices. Um, I'm curious because Mage was always, out of all the various like World of Darkness splats, it was always the most complicated one, right? Like, Dominate was not that terribly complicated. Like the vampire disciplines were pretty straightforward. They were kind of point and shoot. The changeling powers, some of them were point and shoot, some of them were very interpretive. Werewolf powers were mostly point and shoot as well. Um, Mage was the only one where, like, you could have some couple of rotes like memorized, and it's like, well, I do this and this happens. But even to create a rote, you kind of had to get it, flavor it up properly, right? You always had to explain, like, all right, I cast Fireball, but here's why on a philosophical level I'm able to do that. And depending, and then it happens, and then depending, assuming you're good enough, if you're bullshit enough, it happens. But there's still the level of how much reality itself goes, yeah, but seriously though, that's fucking bullshit, and pushes back. um the other ones don't require you to have a debate, to have to have a to have it out in the marketplace of ideas in order for your power to work. It just works. Yeah, Paradox, my old nemesis. um so it doesn't look like it's not here, right? But it is still. My point is that, like, Mage was always the most complicated way to use powers. Unlimited cosmic or near unlimited cosmic power, but infinitely more bullshit to have to wade through to make it. So here definitely sounds like this whole sacrifice thing is a way of storing up power. So I'm curious if it's just a system. It's like, oh, this level of sacrifice is this level of mana points or sacrifice points or whatever. And then that's how many points you need for each individual power type. And that's why you can that therefore makes it a bit more point and shoot, in that you play out your sacrifices, or you have them out or whatever, and then you just have a point total. And then when it actually comes time to use magic, you're pulling off fireballs left and right, and just discounting from those pre-packaged sacrifice points. Or are we kind of like old school mage? Like every time, in every round, every fireball I throw needs another fucking defense of my thesis in order before it'll work. It's like, do I have to like how ritualized and how standardized this is? I wonder. So let's see. Hopefully, we'll get at least some flavor of that as we go. And again, we do have chapters coming with actual mechanics. I just don't know how much of the specific mechanics for the specific legacies we're getting yet. We'll find out soon, but definitely so far it's been pretty light on the specific mechanics. So we'll find out. But oh right, I was looking for Harrowed, which was like, um, oh yeah, Harrowed don't have friends, don't want friends, they don't care who they hurt. Right, like Harrowed is like basically those people who are just complete junkies. Like they're so strung out on magic. They've sacrificed everything and everyone around them. Like I saw this comparison on, I don't remember if it was on a stream somewhere or a video, but somebody made this comparison and I thought it was really a very apt one. Like this system, especially for sorcerer, is an amazing system, or at least it sounds like an amazing setting for playing a mage like John Constantine from DC Comics, because like that's basically his thing. Like all magic comes at a cost, and you know you got to be kind of a bastard and be willing to just give up anything to get what you want. You have to want what you want that bad. And you know what does Constantine sacrifice? What are Constantine's sacrifices constantly over and over and over to pull off his feats? His friends, the people he knows, the people around him are constantly the ones. I mean, he still suffers too, right? He gives up a lot. He suffers, but over and over and over, what's proven is like, and this is what he does. He gets into your life. He makes you fall in love with him, with sometimes on purpose, sometimes just by being himself. Or you know, so it's not love, but it's like he just wriggles into your life, and once he's got his hooks in you, you get used. That's what he does. He uses you, whether he means to or not, because at the end of the day, he needs the magic. He needs the magic more than he needs you. Like that's fucked up, yes, but also like the mindset, right? This is a fucking amazing mindset and system, presumably once we get actual mechanics for John Constantine. Yeah, struggle bus. I'm glad we're on the same page there because I really do. I really like. The more I thought about it, the more it's like. I mean, yes, there's. I want to play John Constantine as we all want to play John Constantine. There's gonna be so many. Though that's now my problem with this game, right? This is the hang up now with the system. The system is perfect for playing John Constantine. Everyone is going to play John fucking Constantine in this game. That's my fear. That's my fear that we'll have nothing but John Constantine, Juan Constantine, Joanna Constantine, old Joe Constantine. It's just gonna be Constantine's all the way down. I now have sort of manifested that fear, and we'll see, we'll deal with it. Um, and after all that, we finally get to the families, families and friends, right? And we have the connections with the others. Hey, potato, no worries. Welcome in, welcome in. Geek rock opera. Who are we listening to? Who are we listening to? Point them out. Uh, well, I won't be. Okay, good. At least somebody won't be playing John Constantine. Uh, the Proto Man. Fuck yeah, the Proto Man. Haven't fucking heard them in ages. In fact, I may have heard them last time I heard them. I may have heard them live. I'm not sure. But hell yeah, hell yeah. Now I kind of want to look them up later. Um, yeah, yeah. All right, so we got this. We got this. Sorcerer systems. Okay, so we're about to talk about the systems. Okay, very light touch on the systems, definitely. Oh, did we actually? No, I don't think we covered this. So we're going to talk about this. We're going to start at the systems. We'll continue from there. But yeah, and then we're actually getting lineages and everything else. So I think that's where we go. Catch up on chat real quick. Like, dude, I would love to see. Yeah, no, I mean, I'd have to check. I'd have to check. It's been some bits are fuzzy about some of the shows I've attended in the past. Let's just leave it at that. So I'm legitimately not certain whether I have seen them at a show or not, but the chance is non-zero. Um, let's see, we can't all be John Constantine. Some of us would be John Wick, but for supernaturals. True, true, true. Um, like that's the thing. It is the whole system with Curseborne, the whole setting, and the focus on curses. The edge is built in, right? It is it's all, it's all curses. It's all like everybody has a built-in excuse to be to be all kinds of edgy, which in a way this does that better than World of, because World of Dark. I mean, look, everybody being edgy is not, it's not necessarily a criticism. That was the whole point of World of Darkness. It might have well have been called like World of Edge. Um, World of Edging. That's got to be. That's probably a website. It's probably a porn website. Um, but yeah, like yeah, I'm fine with there being edge, and if anything, this actually fits that better because in World of Darkness, like like there was always like, oh, you are, the horror of being both a beast and a man and whatnot, but mostly though, like not so much here. I feel like there's a little bit more of like it's you got powers and it is kind of dope, but also it is also a curse, and like I think this does a slightly better job of that, at least from the vibes that I'm getting, than even World of Darkness did a little bit. Cyberpunk has a feature also phrasing. Look. I will not apologize for my phrasing or lack thereof. The things I open my mouth, the things come out, and I just at that point I take no further ownership of them. All right, let us read through the sorcerer systems because I just talked about this. What are we getting? What are we seeing? Sorcerers are a lineage of people who have been cursed with too much power that they have little control over. When they can harness the power, they are capable of great deeds, but it always comes at a cost. The following section explains how to make a sorcerer character and the mechanics that apply to them. Oh, while playing Curseborne. Well, excellent. That's exactly what I wanted to hear about Onyx Path. Good job. Sacrifices. A sorcerer may perform a ritual act of sacrifice at any time to earn a curse die. This sacrifice must be something of meaning to the character, but it does not have to be a material out there outcome. Sorry. Things come out good for things. Yes. Good for things. God damn it. Uh, this could be anything from sacrifice of time, wealth, bonds of friendship, well being, energy, and of course a physical item. The only requirement is that the character must spend a scene preparing and performing the ritual and sacrifice. The ritual can be as elaborate or as sparse as the player wants it to be, though if she finds a way to include the rest of her crew, add a momentum to the pool. Cool. Cool. Um, I certainly hope that the final book will have more details, and or the story guide section will have some guidance for the story guide on how to adjudicate this. Or is it just by default it's like all ritual acts of sacrifice are just a curse die? Boom, period. The only requirement: spend the scene preparing, perform the ritual, and sacrifice. And it can be anything, blah blah blah. Well, whatever. So basically, it's just like they're gonna leave it kind of just up in the air. Like I'm gonna sacrifice X, and I guess the story guide gets to decide. All right, that's a valid sacrifice. Like at what point, what level? It doesn't make any. It doesn't say anything here about the escalating. It's like flavor, but it doesn't say anything here. I think there's we're gonna need more guidance on this. This part I like, right? That if you include the rest of the party and they take part of the momentum of the ritual, rather than just having it just be kind of like a little quick side scene or something, that there's a reward, a mechanical reward for that. Dig that. I think we saw that earlier with some of the others as well. Like I think the Dead had something like that with their parties. And a couple of others have had like, hey, if you can include the rest of the party in some stuff, you'll get a momentum. Um, can I just sacrifice $10? What's the basis to open? Yeah, if more persons involved with a thing that's seen, generally the better. Yeah, exactly. I agree with that. But also, yes, Phoenix. And I think it's the story guide. I would say either the more dice you are holding or the more powerful you are, then the more valuable an item would be, right? But if it's just by default, one curse die per sacrifice, again, like I just we need more guidance. We need more details on this. I don't know if it'll be included in the final book or if we'll see some of that in the story guide section. I hope we see a little bit, at least some indication that they're considering this, because as of right now, I like the concept. I, there's just immediate bunch of like system questions that I have that are definitely not answered, and we've seen that before with the other ones, right? Like I'm just pointing it out, not necessarily making that a bad thing, because we are seeing incomplete, right? A game that is not finished yet, and we've seen this with the others, so just add it to the pile of stuff I hope is further detailed. There are also, again, dozens of folks actually going through this, so I'm sure I'm not the only one. But I hope, yeah, I get it. No worries, potato. Yeah, sacrifice. You meant sacrifice there. Um, so yeah, I like the concept, like the idea. Definitely need some guidance. I don't necessarily, not sure if I would want something as strict, although I guess it would be useful to have a small table of sample sacrifices, kind of. Um, we'll see. We'll see. Let's see. Fast casting. Sorcerers can always cast spells even if they hold no curse dice. If a sorcerer casts a spell that requires her to bleed or hold curse dice, she cannot or does not wish to meet the requirements, she can still cast the spell as a fast cast. When she does this, she suffers a moderate complication on the action. Failure to buy it off results in the spell going awry, such as her taking damage, suffering an appropriate status effect, an ally in the scene taking damage, or the spell targeting a new or different target at the story guide's discretion. If she makes a second fast cast in a scene, the complication upgrades to major. Okay, so far I'm liking this. Let me finish the last bit, but okay, I dig that. A sorcerer may cast a spell she doesn't know but has seen cast in the same scene. A sorcerer may cast a spell she doesn't know but has seen cast in the same scene, which I think was mentioned maybe earlier in the sorcerer description, that sorcerers can kind of mimic other sorcerers' magic. Like if you see it, you can do it. By bleeding a cursed die, she must meet all the prerequisites for the spell, meaning she must have the appropriate entanglement, and it must be open to her. Okay, we'll have to see what entanglements are. Not explained yet. Are entanglements kind of the equivalent of spheres? I'm guessing, probably something along those lines. We'll see. And it must be open to her. When she casts a spell this way, it is always considered a fast cast. So basically, if you have the capacity to cast the spell, then the moment you see a spell, you effectively can copy it if you're able to do it within the same scene. That's cool. I like that little wrinkle, that little idea. That's nice. Which makes kind of like mage, or rather sorcerer v sorcerer, kind of like magical conflict interesting, because depending on your enemies or your opponent's entanglements, I guess it's gonna be interesting. Like, if too many of theirs match yours, then every spell you cast, you just gave them a weapon to use in their own arsenal as well, right? Entanglement is the power level of a character, says Potato, limiting the number of curse dice held in magic ability. Excellent, interesting. All right, then that makes it even like more tricky, because all right, cool. So long as they're within your ballpark, um, then you're handing them, but also they're handing you just weapons to use against them if needed. Kind of dig that. But also, I really dig. Okay, I really dig the concept. I don't know if I would have called it a fast cast.
Curse you all!
Curse you all. Um, Hey, welcome in, buddy. Welcome in. See, it's working now. Welcome in, buddy. Hey, I don't know if I would call this fast cast necessarily, but I do like the concept. I do really, I, in any system, I gotta put this. It's the wizard versus fighter thing. Sure, a wizard's spells are more powerful on average than a fighter's sword sings. But a fighter never runs out of sword sings. A wizard does eventually run out of spells. And I know that's sure, cool, got it, balance. Um, but from a gameplay and players having fun perspective, it sucks when your wizard is out of spell slots, out of mana points, out of whatever. And all of a sudden you can't do anything. You have nothing. You can't cast any of your spells, and you suck at everything else, right? Um, and while on a TV show or everything, like you always have like a spare set of skills, and you could always just design the game to make it so as a wizard, hey, always have a fallback set of skills and shit. Uh, because occasionally you're going to run out of spells, which is also another way to handle it. But personally, I have always liked the idea of being able to go plus ultra, push yourself beyond your limits, and, pull some shit off even when you shouldn't be able to, in exchange for it being, harder, getting a complication, or, taking damage, like the classic and bleed through the nose, whatever kind of thing, or somebody else, like you pulled it off but like your friend got hurt, or there's collateral damage, whatever cool stuff like that, story stuff, rather than there's nothing I can do, I'm out of spell slots, so I guess I'm just gonna move to the back and dodge a lot. Good luck, fighter dude. So I like this approach. I like it. Let me see here. Catching up. Yeah, thank you. I've read this also. Personally, I see a sorcerer can look at another lineage spell and possibly cast that too, not just other sorcerers. Right, right. So if that's the case, then that also means like there's a if lineages kind of like to lock down, which I don't know yet if they do that, they might, but it sounds like lineages might like to lock down magical secrets to themselves. So there's going to be certain spells that they're going to be kind of leery about casting in front of sorcerers outside of the lineage for fear of them learning how it's cast. So that's an interesting wrinkle. I kind of dig. I honestly like that as a restriction for why they might not sling spells around so much around each other. Uh, than like, oh, it's a high paradox spell or something. Anyway, hey, ads are about to start. Our ads are about to start. I've been seeing the little alert down there, so I'm just gonna go ahead and do that now, since we just finished fast casting, and then we'll get into the lineage stuff right after the ad break. So bear with me, and I will catch up with chat on the other side of the ads. Be right back. All
Curse you
right, we
all!
are. It does that every time I come into the screen. Why? Why? I mean, I'm not complaining. Well, I am complaining, but it's just kind of funny that every time I come into the screen, it curse you all. I mean, at least it could actually show the Skeletor while it does that. I'll figure out why that's happening, and instead of fixing it, I'm just gonna make sure that it adds up the pop up there. Um, that'll be the fix once I figure out why that's happening. Anyway, welcome back, folks. And hey, just to catch up on chat real quick, let's see here. Sure, says Struggle Bus, but I think the sorcerers can still use tech. So any non-magic missile, no, exactly, non-magic missile, aka gun. I cast gun is definitely an option in this game. Exactly. There is that. No, I mean, look, it's also like that. Some of that stuff is um, less critical in less combat heavy games. Uh, yeah, cursing cat upon return isn't the most undeserved thing ever. True, true. You know. Hey, Himang, welcome in. I see you over on YouTube. Welcome in, buddy. And yes, it has been. No worries, always welcome in. Hang out as always. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate the good wishes. But like I said, this kind of thing, Struggle Bus, like it sounds like it's balance like that is more meant for like stuff like D&D and super combat heavy games, right? So this might not be that much of a thing in terms of balance. Like I said, if it comes down to combat, especially like old World of Darkness, gun always won. Like as soon as somebody pulled out a gun, that's it, gun wins. Gun versus whatever, except against vampires, as vampires could kind of soak bullets. That was kind of the whole thing. That gun over all until vampire. It was basically what gun, vampire, werewolf. So gun, well, silver bullet, vampire, werewolf. So it's like silver bullet does nothing to vampire, but vampire does nothing to werewolf, but werewolf does nothing to silver bullet, or vice versa. Silver bullet kills werewolf, kills vampire, vampire kills silver bullet. That's kind of how that always worked. And yes, Hebang, Down Down continues to be freaking amazing. I cannot wait. I've been reading up on the manga. I'm not even caught up on the manga. I'm like halfway through on the manga. And it continues. It continues to be fucking amazing. Um, let's see. Continuing to catch up on chat real quick. Let's see. Psychotic Potato, your magic actors in D&D often carry throwing daggers. Dex is important, not to mention you are out for 8 hours of long rest. Right? Exactly. Like, I think once they changed in, like, in 5th edition at least, that there are, like, damaging cantrips, at least that made it so, like, okay, at least as a wizard, if nothing else, I can always, like, have my one pew pew every round going on. And just like I really like the concept of cantrips, as in 5th edition and everything. But I also felt, and this is definitely going on a tangent here. I also felt like cantrips in D&D became sort of an arms race because everybody immediately wanted cantrips for everything, and so there was always like the trying to keep it at a balance. Like, is this spell too powerful to be a cantrip and should require a spell slot, or is this too specific, it's not specific enough, too useful, not useful enough, because cantrips still, like, you can only have so many, so there should, there's a limitation, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And once you started giving mages that level of just general utility with the cantrips, then that's why I feel like that's part of why D&D, almost every character class, I think there's like one character class, if that has like zero magic, and they, even there, I think it's like specifically like one of the subclasses of that class has like no magic. I don't remember which. It's been a while since I've looked at the rules, but it was like that. It was that quote unquote bad, if you want to consider that bad. But point is, like, everybody all of a sudden needed to have cantrips to make them more useful and valuable. Which I don't mind. I don't mind. I like general utility and stuff. But it does feel like they led to a bit of once cantrips happened, they fixed one problem while just significantly changing everything about the game for almost everything else. It feels, at least it feels like to me. And again, let me see, catching up on chat yet again. Thinking of other non-as combat-focused systems, while in tangential brain mode, I like the way the default magic is in GURPS. You spend fatigue points to cast spells. Out of fatigue or don't want to? Sure, spend HP on them. Also avoids having to rest for a full night before you cast your spells. You can recover FP by chilling for a bit, and spells to speed it up. Yeah, exactly. Like, some kind of mana point system, and then tie that into some kind of fallback, so that even when I'm out of mana, there's something I can do, even if it's costly, dangerous, etc. Like kind of like what we're seeing here, is generally my preference when it comes to Magic. Some level of yeah, that, especially if mana is something that's easily regainable. But I'm also like, look, let's be very clear. If there is a Magic a pro Magic supporter here, I am not going to beat the wizard allegations. I absolutely fucking love Magic, or just power systems, spells, superpowers, psychic powers, whatever. If a system, like, the only systems that I don't usually play at all are the ones that are completely low or no magic, or low or no weirdness. I want to play systems that get weird. I want to play systems that have magic and superpowers, because turns out I don't have any of those in real life. And I would like to, but I can't. I can't, because it turns out that the real world has a lot less of that kind of magic. The, the world is magical and wonderful, and there's and full of curses, absolutely chock full of curses. Um, but no, not that many with the superpowers, right? But as Struggle Buzz just mentioned in chat, some people don't find that to be quite as good. They're not as big a fans of all of a sudden every character class can cast spells. But what if I don't want to cast spells? Sorry, they come with the territory of every character class now. So I get it. But then again, I also tend to play games where everybody can use. I am literally making a game where the most basic concept of the setting is everybody has a gift. Everybody is born with a tiny bit of magic in them. So again, that's where I lie on that particular spectrum. So I'm generally gonna be a fan of systems that make their magic more flow easier. Um, so we'll see how that goes. That's one that I'd love to spend some time on one of these streams someday. Ars Magica, see where it all came from, because we all know that Mage the Ascension, right, and yeah, especially Mage the Ascension owes a lot to Ars Magica, and oops, sorry, and I have played it, like back when it first started. I don't. Did I ever play it? No, I like read through it, but like I don't think I ever actually played Ars Magica. Back on the island, Um, but point is, yeah, a mage owes a hell of a lot to Ars Magic, and that's another one that I want to look at, because I've seen there's a guy on TikTok who's been running a campaign, an Ars Magica campaign, over on Start Playing, where I also occasionally run campaigns, and I'm gonna go ahead and take that as a reminder to do the chat. Um, but he's running an Ars Magica campaign. He's been posting about it on TikTok, and he's talking about it. And it's a really interesting take. I've forgotten how experimental it is. Like, it's kind of meant for like troop style play. Everybody has a mage, but also everybody plays like grogs, who are like these servants, and you kind of like, you take kind of turns playing your mage while the other players play your grogs and whatnot. And it's super 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 like systematic. Like, it sounds fascinating, sounds really interesting. And again, I barely remember it because this was early 90s. um, but I definitely want to take a look at that on stream one of these days. I think I picked it up. I'm pretty sure I picked it up recently. I've got the PDF somewhere around here. So, but chalk that one up to the near endless list. The good thing about this stream, I mean, at least until I've definitely run out of money and end up on the streets, I can keep this up for damn near forever. So many games. Hey, we've been back from ads for about like almost 10 minutes at this fucking point. And we haven't looked at a single thing here. Let's check out the lineage path. Point is, after all that, is that I'm kind of digging how this is handling the spells. Let's see if it continues living up to expectations. Lineage path. You are a sorcerer. You have power coursing through you that demands to be used. It's a heady sensation, one that you find yourself drawn to despite any danger associated with it. Again, this feels to me, I knew my favorites were going to be either the outcasts or the sorcerers. I knew it. And we haven't even gotten to the lineages yet. I might end up being very disappointed with the lineages. Who knows? Who knows about for sorcerer? But in terms of flavor and like what I want from a sorcerer, and I love, actually, the more I think about it, the more I love that you're called sorcerer and not mage or wizard, or caster or something like that. Although we'll see. I'm sure some of them might call themselves. We'll see at the families. But I like that the lineage as a whole is sorcerer because it is more of a handling of power. I don't know. There's just something coarser to it, right? There's something more raw, more like dealing with raw power and bending it to your will. I don't know. There's something about like the word tastes like that to me a little bit more. So I like that, and I really like the description of it. I really like this is a character type that I very much want to play. Let's see. Your path skills are artistry, esoterica, and science. Yes, yes. I Science is there, esoterica is there, but also art. Oh, I love this. I really like that these are the path skills. That says something. That says something about what it is to be a sorcerer, which is mostly that as a sorcerer you automatically get ADHD. That's how I'm choosing to interpret this. Major path attributes, yeah, of course, focus on mental, but with all around you take care of yourself. Let's see, assets. So you have access to cult libraries, ancient texts, backstage patches, money whenever you need it. So that's how I know I'm not a sorcerer. Magical items and magical research facilities. Cool stuff. Let's see what's your inheritance if you go with that as your major path. And again, I don't know if I'm doing that right. If like it's choose this or choose the family one, or do you get one of each or what? We'll find out. We'll find out once we get a look at some of those systems. Major path inheritance. The sorcerer's power comes with the weight of vast of knowledge. No spell slinger worth their salt gets recognized by a family without proving their mental acumen. All sorcerers have a focused area of interest. Your your area, your special interest. Yeah. Even if they're not the wizened academic type. Choose an area of interest when you gain this inheritance. Whenever the sorcerer taps into her area of interest, she gains hits that apply before the roll equal to her entanglement. So I'm guessing entanglement, as you mentioned, Potato, is kind of your arete. Arete. I don't know how it's pronounced in English. Arete? Arete? To me, it's always arete. Anyway, but it sounds like it's that, basically, which makes this make sense. I choose my area of my special interest to be Hatsune Miko, I believe is what I'm going to choose. Damnation. Damnation. A sorcerer has a burning desire to use her magic in any situation. The more she uses her magic, the more she wants to keep using it. Yes. Anytime the character's curse dice pool reaches 0, she loses control and casts spells without restraint. The sorcerer must use magic to solve her problems, even if it is wildly overkill for the situation. She can only cast magic as fast cast until she makes a sacrifice to regain control. That's kind of wild. I love it. You're a ticking time bomb. I love it. Resolution. You must sacrifice something meaningful to her. If the sacrifice makes things inconvenient for her or one of the crew, gain a curse dice or momentum. Player's choice. If the sacrifice is also one of her family's traditional sacrifices, she gains both. All right, so it sounds like the differences here within the families are going to be the type of sacrifice. So kind of like the hungry, the type of thing you eat, or the dead, the type of emotion you feed off. Um, it's gonna be the type of sacrifice that your family likes to make. So that's interesting. Let's see how that works out for them, shall we? Um, your torments. Okay, again, I'm continuing. Yeah, okay, choose one of the following torments, one of these two. So usually we have, and I haven't read these yet, usually we have the first one that is like a really traditional one, like, okay, the kind of torment you'd expect for that kind of thing. And then the second one is usually the one that makes me go, I want it, and pick that one. Let's see if the pattern holds for the very last lineage. So your first torment is curiosity kills. At the core of their nature, sorcerers are curious. I like it so far. This constant thirst for knowledge and power separates them from average humans and drives them to pursue increasingly ambitious goals. A character with this torment cannot pass up an opportunity to investigate something dangerous. When she gives into the torment, she cannot take any action and does not further her descent into a dangerous situation for the sake of learning something new. She does this heedless of her friends, enemies, or the consequences. Obtaining it still won't make her happy. Okay, so this is what we expect from everything that's been built up about this lineage. That you're super curious. You're gonna always fall into the the typical curious person trap, right? The story guide gets to use that against you a lot. Cool, standard. Um, Unchecked hubris, though. Already from the name, I can tell I'm probably going to like it more. Sorcerers may or may not have stolen their power. But however, they claim. Oh, sorry. But however they claimed it, they got away with it. Ha! Already, again, the pattern continues. As a whole, they've been riding high on this victory for centuries. A character with this torment thinks she can get away with anything. When she succumbs, she's driven to audacity, attempting things that she shouldn't. This can range from taunting incredibly powerful beings, to trying to steal priceless artifacts in plain sight, to trying to steal vast power from other accursed. The story guide is free to bribe the player with suggestions of terrible ideas that sound great right about now. Again, the pattern continues. The second one of the torments is always the one that is just a shit ton more fun. The first one is the traditional one. The second one is the one that's going to make that more than a few gaming sessions fucking memorable. And I love it. Yeah, unchecked hubris every day. I love when the GM gets to be the fault, but right. That's one of my things. It's one of my favorite points from if used correctly. We certainly did not use it often enough, but I've mentioned them before. The good folks from Explorers Wanted and their GM Daniel Anderlich, Dan represent, um, and he is a master. He is a master of in the game Numenera. One of the things that the GM can do is offer a GM intrusion, and basically they offer a player an XP. An XP in that game, for those who don't know, are not just used for advancing your character, but can also be used for rerolls. They work as fate points. You can use them to kind of introduce elements into the story, etc., etc. So XP are a good resource. They're very generally useful. You want them. You really want them a lot of the time because they can get your ass out of some serious messes. And so one of the most powerful tools that the GM has is the ability to introduce a GM intrusion where they offer you an XP. And the fun part about that is that either you take it or you have to pay an XP of your own to not take it, to resist the temptation. And I always kind of found that fun. That it's like, no, but really though, and you really have to think about it because you're like, I don't need the XP, but also I don't want to spend an XP just to avoid this. But is it worth spending an XP just to avoid this temptation? Or, ooh, but I really, then again, the extras, all that math happens in your head, and I find it fun. So yes, I love that with this, you get to be kind of like, be an evil GM. All right, now let's actually look at the families finally and at long last. I'm hoping we can get through all of them today. Families. Sorcerer families form around a political distinction along with an inherited one. Children of sorcerers who bear a curse belong to their family, though adoptions and marriages muddy the waters quite a bit. When a sorcerer comes of age or has learned enough to choose, they swear their allegiance to one of the major families. In doing so, they seal their relation. Okay? So it is kind of a little bit blood, but also like there's a point where you have to make like choose to join. Cool. Archivists. They say ignorance is bliss. This must be why life is agony. Archivists. Knowledge is probably the most powerful tool in humanity's arsenal. With knowledge, we grow, we overcome, we succeed. There's a reason why knowledge is the root of so many bids for power. So many old sayings have to do with knowledge, secrets, information, and their relation to personal power. We know this better than most. We also know another secret. Some things are best left unknown. We know more than anyone else. This is more of a humble brag than anything else. We can't help but to know more because we're constantly seeking out new information and experiences. It isn't always sunshine and roses. Our archives are filled with so much forbidden knowledge, cursed experiences, and disturbing facts that the sheer vastness of it would traumatize you. I like an archivist mage just as a template in general. True, true, true. As a general rule, I am a fan of like this is a stereotype, this is a template. Let's see what we get. Knowledge is sacrifice. That might feel counterintuitive. I just told you that it was our most powerful tool, and that's absolutely true. Which is why we pick and choose what knowledge to sacrifice and when. And when we learn something new, and that's wait which is why we pick and choose what knowledge to sacrifice and when. And when we learn something new, that's a different kind of sacrifice. It's a sacrifice of time, energy, and sometimes the thin thread of sanity that holds us together. Okay, I get what you're saying there. I think that sentence could use a rewrite, but I get it. Secrets are the ultimate sacrifice. Secrets are a special kind of information. Generally, something is a secret because so few people know the information. We can either spill a secret or delete it entirely. Both serve our purposes. This makes secrets some of the most valuable information we can get our hands on. The other families like to call us sneaks, spies, and all manner of shitty things, and I don't blame them. No one wants to find out that their secret might be part of an archivist's next big ritual. There's no telling which way it'll land. Interesting. I this kind of brings up again that whole thing about like you might not want to cast your spells in front of an archivist because then they know it. They're able to copy it. And apparently archivists are not above sacrificing knowledge, sacrificing secrets. So knowledge that is that is interesting, because if you reveal that you're the only you and like two people within your family are the only ones that know a specific spell, all of a sudden the archivists have a motivation to possibly destroy all three of you without learning the secret. They're not even looking for the secret. In fact, it's important to them the secret spreads no further, because the sacrifice they're trying to make for whatever fucked up spell they're casting is that secret. They're trying to sacrifice your secret. Oh, I love that. That is wild. Fuck your secret. Hey, welcome in, Arbalest. Welcome in, buddy. And wait, so you could offer to destroy a damning secret of somebody for payment. Also true. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming there might be spells, magical ways of destroying secrets, but also there's just the good old-fashioned murder people, murder everyone who knows about this until nobody knows about it anymore. That certainly counts as a goddamn sacrifice. That gives these guys an edge. That gives these guys a twist that I kind of dig. Yeah, especially with this next part. Yeah, here we go. Every time a new, bigger ritual. The problem with how we choose our sacrifice is that if you've already performed a ritual sacrifice of a knowledge, you can't do the same ritual again. Maybe it can look similar, but it needs to be different. It's a family tradition to not just do something different, but bigger and better than last time, which, fun. That's a story idea right there. Information is a currency. We trade rituals and secrets among ourselves. If my brother has learned something new in his last ritual, he might share it with me for mine, and vice versa. This isn't to say all information is free game to everyone in the family. Yes, they have your back and will share if you're in dire need, but the part of the sacrifice is the work you have to put into learning that knowledge. Expect your family to force you to work for it. So information is a sacrifice on its own. There are things in this world, there are things in this world that humanity should not know. A lot of that information comes from the outsides, but some of it is just a secret truth about the world that peels away your carefully constructed reality. That kind of knowledge is terrible to have, and that is a burden in its own. Our archives are full of it. We seek it. It fuels us even as it traumatizes us. I really like that concept that there is just it's not, you're not sacrificing the knowledge. The sacrifice is to hold that knowledge, to know forever something absolutely fucking horrible, or something that is never, that man was never meant to know, and you know it, and that is your burden, that is your sacrifice. Oh, that's fucked up, and I like it. I like what they're doing with the archivists. We keep a strict hierarchy. The family is a long lineage of blood relations dating back to Babylon. The oldest members act as leaders, and the head of our family is the keeper of the keys to the family vault. There's a long line of succession that the likes of me and you are at the very bottom of. Those at the top hoard their knowledge from the rest of us, keeping so much of what we have as need to know information. If only they would share. Imagine where we could be. Relations. If I had to take a stab at the family best at keeping their secrets, it'd be the Faceless. Their entire modus operandi is to not get caught, which means they are keeping things even from each other. I'd love to get my hands on their books. All right, I'm curious about the Faceless. The network has a big secret. Unfortunately, it's one of those open secrets that everyone knows about but no one talks about. Everyone at the bottom is just a potential sacrifice for everyone at the top. What a way to live. All right, so the network sounds like it's some kind of social media thing, I think, of some kind of pyramid scheme. Interesting. Possibly a company. We'll see. Corporate, right? Some people like to compare us to the Premier. I can't see it. Sure, they're a pseudo-blood family like we are, but that's where the similarities begin and end. Those stuck-up, rich, greedy assholes are why the rest of us can't dabble in local politics. Haha! Funny how no one seems to hold it against them for fucking it up. Interesting. There's history there, which I want to learn at some point. The Reeves have an interesting magic. I bet they all have some dark secrets hidden up their sleeves with all that blood sacrificing they've been doing. Ooh. The only thing you're going to learn from a primal is how to fight, but that's still knowledge worth learning. They also make great friends or lawyers with fault and can watch your back when, not if, you do something stupid and dangerous. And outcasts are a well of interesting information. Make friends with them, because even if they don't know anything, they can get you into an outside where you can learn something new. The others call us librarians, spies, and bookworms. I like being called the librarian. We call ourselves family. Collectively, we use archivists, but individuals are my cousins, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, etc. And we teach magic that helps us gather, keep, and find information. We pry secrets from the dark and forgotten places of the world, learn as much as we can about every small, hidden, or presumably lost information, and we travel to outsides to learn as much new things as we can. Our magic facilitates our travel and our practices. If you follow them as their path, culture, enigmas, and larceny checks out. Big focus on mental. Access rare text, special access libraries, ritual books, private means of fast travel, doors to specific outsides, good stuff. Practices. These are the powers that you get: illusion, spiritualism, and telelocation. Oh, so these are your spheres, basically. Illusion, spiritualism, and telelocation. Cool. Secret spell, tabula rasa, whatever that may be. And major path inheritance. You have a well of knowledge at your disposal, allowing you to dispense facts with ease. Once per scene, you may ask the story guide for an answer to a question regarding the current situation. It must answer you truthfully. That's real PBTA. That's real PBTA. I like that. This question must be something your character could possibly know through research or establish. You may know the entire ownership history of the building the crew is standing in, who a dead woman is. Okay, cool. I kind of like that. That you're likely to have some kind of information that would have been that you could have researched at some point. I like that. Motifs: emotional, bleed, okay, emotional, liminal, and psychic. Interesting. Play an archivist if you want to seek out forbidden knowledge no matter the cost, hold terrible secrets only you can know, and discover the vast hoard of knowledge that your family is keeping from you. I dig them. I dig the archivists. They've got enough an edge to them to make them more than just kind of like a stereotypical librarian stereotype, right? I really like that. I really like that. Guys, folks on chat, go ahead and discuss amongst yourself for the next minute 30 seconds while we go through the ads. Be right back.
Curse you all!
It's gonna do that every time. I have to like manually bring that up. There we go. Anyway, potato. First of all, yes. Yes. I. Same. Like with every single, with every single legacy that we've looked at, there's been at least one, right, that I've gone like, ooh, that's cool. Ooh, I would play that. Ooh, I've got a character idea. Um, and out of all of them, I mean, again, look, I am who I am. I am what I am, and what I am is a mage player. So I always knew that unless they fucked it up somehow, sorcerer was probably going to be my favorite. And again, look, we might still like. I like the archivists. I think there might be some of the other families from there that I like better than archivists. I'd have to go back, kind of look them over to remind myself to see which one. But I know a couple that I had a bigger reaction to than archivists. So it is entirely possible that we may go through it and me going, sorcerers are my overall favorite, which they kind of feel like they might end up being. But we'll see if my actual favorite familia, I keep saying familia, my actual favorite family will be in the sorcerers or not. That might be a good one for like the final day once we've gone through everything else, kind of like just list them all out. Maybe, ooh, we could do like a tier ranking. Oh, that might be fun to do on like on Halloween. Like a full on every, just based on the Kickstarter, every family from every lineage tier ranking, and we just rank them down. I think that might be, that might be fun. That might be fun. I'll see if I can set that up for Thursday. I should also get like a costume or something. I don't know what yet. I've since I haven't been planning to go out, I'd have nothing, absolutely jack shit prepared for any kind of costume for Halloween. I feel I'm sad that I got to do nothing. I might be going to Dave's. I certainly hope my foot is fine by then. On Thursday, evening for a little tiny Halloween shindig, which would be nice. But like other than that, there's been nothing this month. Absolutely nothing. I've been so focused on survival, right? Um, sad. Anyway, folks, we're back. We're back. And we are looking at the ¿Qué te hiciste el pie ahora? Look, man, I don't know. My crime was walking while increasingly old. Apparently, I don't know what I did to fuck up my heel. But now my heel hurts, and it's not the joint. It's definitely like it's muscle pain. Um, because I had somebody online say like, oh, is it like gout or something? And I'm sad to say I did have a gout attack once, and it is quite literally the worst pain I've ever felt in my life. And I would like to never experience it again. So I know what that feels like. Wrong area, wrong kind of pain. This is just it's a tumor. It's a tumor. It's not a tumor. Look, man, I hope it's not ankle cancer. Is that a thing now? God, am I gonna have to Google ankle cancer? Do I have ankle cancer? Um, let's hope not. Let's hope not. But Jesus Christ, you're not the doctor. I know for a fact you're not a doctor. Are you a doctor? Actually, I don't know for a fact if you're a doctor. You might be a doctor. I don't know. Did I just get diagnosed? Um, hey, let's look at the next family so we can rank all of these on Friday. The faceless, in service and in blood. Okay, so the archivists thought about the faces they're the sneaky ones, and everybody thinks the archivists are the sneaky ones, sneaky spies. So what's up with the faceless? Google makes everyone a doctor. Google makes everyone a poor doctor, unfortunately. Google makes everyone a very pessimistic doctor. No matter what, Google, and I cannot take credit for this. I wish I could because it's a great joke. But I don't remember which comedian said this, but basically Google is a choose your own. Google in health is a choose your own adventure, in which all paths lead to cancer. So let's see. Where there's people, there's crime. And why not take what you want when you have an unlimited amount of power at your disposal? Why not take from those who have wealth to supplement those who don't? Sorcerers work under their own set of rules, though why should we abide by mortal laws? If they catch you, you can just magic your way out. In the end, you can be the most notorious criminal who stumps the law at every turn. That's not us. We are the faceless, and we call ourselves that because no one knows who we are, what we do, or even that we exist. No one except other sorcerers. We are the farthest reaching criminal organization in the world that no one's ever heard of. Just like I am part of the longest running tabletop RPG podcast that no one's ever heard of as well. Ha! Marketing. Um, anyway, when you need something illegal, come to us. All right. So basically, we've got a secret network of spies and thieves. Sounds like he says to people on Discord for said, look, man, you got to get in the habit of it, right? They say, first you start selling the cookies to like, your mom and your sisters, then eventually the neighbors. That's how the cookies work. You like this, Phoenix? I like this too. I like this too. It's not bad. So we've got the secret, super secret thief network. Sounds like when you need something illegal, come to us. We're efficient, effective, and most importantly, discreet. Odds are you've never even heard of us before now. That's okay because we don't advertise. We don't need the work. In fact, we don't accept payment for our services. Although if you're expecting a huge payout from anything we do, you can start looking elsewhere. Ah, interesting. The sacrifice is in the risk. If you need evidence that curses don't give two shits what you sacrifice so long as it has meaning, wear it. The physical items we eventually sacrifice don't even belong to us, but the meaning behind it is everything. We don't keep anything from the taking, not even the credit. Our sacrifice is the risk we take to commit the crime. We sacrifice the safety and security of ourselves and our families every time we act. That's gonna get a full on. Big fan of this. Big fan of that. I absolutely love this. Like in my head, what started playing was like Persona 5 music. Disturbing the peace. Da, 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 da. Like, and if you don't hear, by the way, if any of you haven't played Persona 5, I highly recommend it. It is a Persona game, which means you gotta kind of be okay with the fact that half the game is going to high school in Japan. Then the other half is high stakes break-ins into magical, fanciful castles and fortresses in which you fight monsters and creatures born from the deepest, darkest myths of mankind, um, and also high school. But anyway, point is that Persona 5 in specific had very much a break into places and Danny Ocean kind of vibe. Yes, potatoes. As I was reading through this, I was hearing the music from that game in my head because it is kind of like for the love of the game, but also the love of the game is what pays the bills. In this case, the magical bills for the magics. I kind of love this. I kind of love this. Also, I'm just picturing a wow there. So, I think it was one of the either the Dead or the Primals that had a group that was like kind of like all about getting justice for people. Um, this also this they sounds like okay. Here's what I'm picturing. Hear me out. Hear me out. Are any of you familiar with the show Leverage? And if you're not, you can drop out now. Go look it up. I don't know who is this. Is it streaming anywhere? Now I have to look it up. Now I have to look that up. Let's see, leverage streaming. Okay, sounds like people are in fact familiar. Okay, looks like it's on Prime. So yeah, go check it out on Prime. Um, is it like included in Prime or is it like pay for it Prime? Looks like it's included with Prime. So there you go. That's that. Or if not, you can buy it online. Or if not, you may do like I do and do a search for Stremio. Yo yo. Anyway, we are all. It sounds like we are familiar with Leverage. And if you're not, again, you should go. You should go. And I'm picturing Leverage. I'm picturing a game that is just Leverage, but with like all the people are accursed, and one of them would 100% be one of these. 100% be one of these, just pulling off the wildest shit, um, because that's how they get their power. Like the bigger the score, the bigger the con, the bigger everything else, the better. That's their sacrifice. I would love that. Let's see, catching up on chat real quick. We are all, yep, we are all old enough to remember Leverage. True, we are men of a certain age. Let's see. I just visited a doctor years ago that was so despondent they told me to look up my symptoms and medicines online and to buy drugs from Russia to avoid health insurance costs. I got the distinct feeling they didn't want to see me again. Wow. Yeah. So as a doctor, my official diagnosis is that you have ghosts in your blood and you should do cocaine about it. I know some Russians that can help you with that. That's the kind of doctor I would be, frankly. I would be like, hey, listen, man. I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you, but I do know that you'll feel better if you take this shit. It's straight from a lab in Kursk. You're gonna need to buy it with Bitcoin. I'll give you. I'm gonna give you an onion address. Just Google Tor Tor, and then you'll know the rest from there. That's Doctors RPGs soon. I mean, there's one that I would love to look at. It's not quite so fast. It's one called The Ward, which is all about like a working hospital. I've never played it, but I know a member of our podcast, Billy. He's played it a few times. He's a huge fan. I don't think we've ever played it in on the stream. I don't think we have, but that's one that I should get my hands on and check out for one of these streams as well. Well, okay, Saints of Suffering, yes, that is kind of a doctor's RPG, but Saints of Suffering is more like no, we're playing EMTs in Shadowrun, but it's still Shadowrun. But like an RPG that's dedicated to doctors, different. Um, then again, also I can see an all doctor crew of a cursor as well. Anyway, let's continue. I'm trying. Look, man, I'm trying to get some families here. But I do love this. I do love this very much. Let's see. Not every crime is a sacrifice. Sure, we fuel our magic by taking someone else's shit and burning it on the altar of a curse, but that doesn't stop you from taking what you need for yourself every now and again. Some of us reserve our underworld activities just for magic, but others find it's a lucrative way to make a living. You can make a great career with forgeries, fake IDs, being a fence, and any other non-sacrificing illegal activities. Just don't get caught doing that either, otherwise you're going to find yourself out in the cold. The family might bail you out a few times, but there are severe limits. I like that as well. That they're like, all right, look, we've got your back once or twice, but if you keep fucking up, you're a risk. We're gonna cut you off. Um, no crimes without permission. For a group devoted to breaking laws, we have a whole lot of rules. Ooh. The biggest one, and the one that probably gets broken most often, is that we aren't supposed to commit a crime without permission from our superiors. You want to steal something? Yes, permission. They want you to deface something? You do it without question. The thing is, if you're good enough to not get caught by the authorities, who's to say the family knows you did anything? Yeah, so just don't get caught. That's really the rule here. Don't get caught. I really, really like that. That the expectation is you have to do it, but the expectation is also, but if you're good enough to get away with it, just make sure you can actually get away with it because you will get fucked. Uh, let's see here. Angela's character is basically a doctor. Just ignore the mental reservations. Hey, those are again a feature, not a bug. No crimes. Okay, now here we go. The taboo of human sacrifice. It's a taboo to sorcerers at large, but it's also a crime, which means there are plenty of unscrupulous faces who will undertake an assassination. Officially, it's against the rules. But remember that don't get caught rule? If we catch you, you're going to find out the hard way that we take our rules seriously. But it's an open secret that the higher ups are all pretty much soulless monsters who will happily murder someone to get a scrap of magic. Checks out. Checks out. All right, what do they think about the other families, relations? We get along okay with everyone except the premier. Okay, cool. I'm already seeing vibes that everybody hates the one percenters. They tend to hobnob with the kind of people we take from, and they don't like us getting into their business. You'd be surprised at how much our tactics overlap with the network. The whole family is just one big con all the way from top to bottom. That doesn't mean they condone our activities. They'd have to recognize their own hypocrisy to do so. Raves are some of our best clients. They work on balancing the scales, which is a little bit of what we do sometimes as well. You'd be surprised how many hungry would like our services. They especially like the no strings attached and no questions asked policy, but they are eternally suspicious that we don't ask for payment. They refuse to accept any explanation that we give them. Okay, I love the concept of this, that they are a group that nobody knows about. Nobody's supposed to know about them. But if you know about them and you know how to reach them, it almost feels like they're the ones who reach out to you. They feel that you have a job, you have a need that's worth their time. But imagine that. Imagine that. You are the CEO of an evil corporation. You know, you're an evil. It's okay. Look, oxymoron. We don't have to keep saying evil. You are the billionaire CEO of a corporation. I don't have to say evil billionaire, evil CEO of an evil corporation. It's understood. All these words represent evil. So you're the CEO. You're the billionaire CEO of a corporation, and you know that your competitor, easy and fun motivation to play, Phoenix Scientist says, yes, no, they sound like fun. They sound like fun. But imagine you're there and your competitor has developed a new tech and once the use gets out about this new tech, which is better, harder, faster, longer, stronger than your tech, your stock's going to tank and you're like, fuck that shit. What can I do? What can I do? And before you even can convene a fucking meeting, a shadow melts from your wall with a proposition that they will break into your enemy's, your competitor's office, steal all their information, make sure you are not implicated in any way, shape, or form, and also like fuck up your competitors' systems or something, so that to make sure that you have time to get your version out, like everything you've wanted in this really like sort of high risk way, and they want nothing, and they're like, cool, just say the word and we'll do it. And it's like, and how much is it going to cost me? We never said cost. There's no cost. Say the word and we'll do it. Like, yeah, Yeah, of course you're going to be suspicious as fuck. I get it. I get why you would be suspicious. While the primal don't often use us for work, we tend to get along with them rather well. They're used to living on the outside of society, and that's where we thrive. And I wish we could do more for the dead, but we aren't specialists in ghosts, and they don't really like our version of a good time. They are interesting folks, though, and good to have as friends. Other people call us mercenaries and criminals. They aren't wrong. Among the family, we call ourselves by our family relationships. We rarely use our names when talking about the family. It's always the family this or your cousin that. Checks out. We teach magic that lends itself well to facilitating our activities. We're masters of illusion and getting in and out of places unseen. We dabble in other things as well, such as bending the elements to our will, which can also work to ensure we have the right cover. All right, so pass, close range combat, larceny pilot. All right, cool. That checks out. Wow, they're really poor at social. Physical, yeah, they are your acrobatic thieves. Yeah, okay, cool. Fence, infiltration equipment, criminal lawyer, cop on the take, outreach group, acquisition, practice of acquisition, interesting, illusion and thaumaturgy. Secret spell as smoke. Major path inheritance. When you apply disguise, it's always seamless. You automatically succeed on actions to fool people into believing you are who you say you are. If someone uses magic to see through your disguise, it provokes a clash and you gain +1 enhancement on the roll. Whoa, that's wow, that's powerful. That's cool. Super infiltrating. Yeah, almost like, oh, nobody actually knows what you actually look like kind of vibe. I dig that. Let's see, motifs. So ethereal are cheaper so long as you're not attacking. Psychic, you can make them more powerful and apply immobilized. Physical, you can make them more powerful. Okay, cool. Play a faceless if you want to be a criminal who doesn't do it for fame. Steal from the rich and give to the poor. Or act as a mercenary to ensure you don't lose your humanity. Interesting. I love that little juxtaposition there, because usually mercenary is a way to lose your humanity. I love this. I love that a little bit. That's really cool. Okay, I dig them. I could see myself playing a faceless, and if not, at least as a storyteller using them. The network. Connections are a currency. You know what they say, it's who you know. Networking is how you get anything done in this world. You need someone to fix your plumbing. I've got a guy for that. You need a place to open your new salon. I've got a lady for that. You need a job? I know 6 places that need a warm body who can read. If I don't know someone who can get you what you want, I know somebody who does. That's how it works around here. Don't worry if you don't know anyone yet. You will. The network is here to help you make those connections. We are the people you go to for whatever you need. We'll introduce you to the right people and teach you how to make your own connections. It's best to have your own web of people so that you can eventually contribute to the network's inner workings. You'll even get a mentor who will show you the ropes. Connections come and go. Don't worry about spending too much time building relationships with the people you meet. Everyone knows that the point of networking is to use each other for the things you need, not for friendships. If you want friends, don't expect the network to provide that for you. Although, I know a place where you can go. Follow your mentor's guidance. Your mentor is here to help you, and they are your current best resource. Use them, because they sure as hell are going to use you. You didn't hear this from me, but you might want to use them for all they're worth. Sooner or later, they're going to cut you loose regardless of if you're ready. Find a niche. It's best if you do it yourself, but if you don't know where to start, I'm sure your mentor can suggest one. We're all trying to fill a void in the network's reach, connecting the family to all sorts of trades and transactions. For example, I know someone, Anne, who set up a mailing list named Enchiridion. It's some kind of self-help thing. Right, it's a scam. It's a scam. It's a pyramid scheme. The whole way, like everybody else knows it. They know it. Everyone knows it. Redundancy is a necessity. It just makes sense in case what your one person can't deliver, or you ask too much from one person and need another to fill in. Also, your connections are your sacrifices. There, I said it. For some reason, the higher ups don't like to talk about it, but that's the whole point of the network. It isn't just to make sure everyone in the family has a car guy. It's so we always have something to sacrifice. You're killing them. God, no. You're burning that connection, losing that tie, destroying that bridge to never use again. The network has a good reputation among other accursed. We sacrifice our mortal acquaintances and connections, and we have a good reputation for helping other families and lineages. Don't fuck that up by going and sacrificing your family and friends. No one would trust us if they thought they were expendable. Just also know that you are expendable. I know, it's fucked up, but sooner or later, your mentor is going to sacrifice you. Probably when you get too unwieldy or if they're having a bad day. Best to learn quick and get your own mentees before that happens. I kind of dig this. They're all just, it's just it's pyramids all the way down. I kind of dig that. Relations. The premier's good at networking and terrible at cutting off loose ends. They don't like us much, and that's probably because of a failed marriage agreement from a few years ago. I'd like the record to show it wasn't our fault the agreement fell through. The Unburdened have one of the largest support networks I've ever seen. I don't think anyone else has mentioned the Unburdened yet. If they would just understand that you don't need to keep everyone close, they would be so much better off. Suffering the life of an aesthetic just to keep control sounds so terrible. I wonder if they meant ascetic, as in like you're a monk kind of thing. I think that's what, rather than suffering the life of an aesthetic. I think maybe. Anyway, Reeves understand cutting out the weak. I just wish they wouldn't literally kill things. It's hard to want to be friends with someone who might just cut up a fluffy animal in front of you. The Faceless are a tight-knit group and act in such lockstep that you'd think they were under some kind of mind control. I'd hate to find out that they were looking to take from us. Ooh. The Outcasts and us have a strong similarity in that it's hard for us to keep connections. Too bad they don't want to be our friends because they're afraid we'll just cut them off. My brother in Christ, you literally just spent a couple of paragraphs telling me that's exactly what you do. Uh, well, I guess not to other supernaturals, not to other accursed so much, but still. I mean, look, I kind of like the concept behind these guys, but wow, it is basically an excuse to just be an absolute utter dick to just mortality at large. Except even worse, because you're gaslighting them. It's full on manipulation. Like you are creating those connections with the explicit purpose of sacrificing them later. That's fucked up. I'm not gonna lie, network. That's fucked up. The primals are dangerous to be around, and I don't think they make very good networking partners. They also judge us too harshly for doing what we need to do to survive. Yeah, the primals are not big Amway guys. Others call us brokers in suits. If they're feeling pissy, they call us assholes. They're right, though. They did say they'll cut off their acolytes just for power, so other supernaturals are fair game. No, they're acolytes, yes, but they specifically kind of say that they have a good reputation among other accursed, and don't fuck that up by going sacrificing your family and friends, though we'll trust them without they were expendable. So, like, it is, like, try not to, it's basically sort of like, hey, try not to cut off supernaturals, like sacrifice mortals left and right all you want. Also expect that shit from us, but you don't want the other supernaturals to expect it to them, because in that case then you get what's happening here with the outcasts, where they don't trust them so much. They've got it's more of an image thing, I think. So it's not like that. I don't think they're officially fair game, but also at the same time no one's going to stop you. It's more of like, is it worth it? Is it worth it? And as a sorcerer, sooner or later, it's always worth it. We call ourselves buddies, pals, agents, and all manner of extremely distant yet familiar terms. Even our own parents and siblings start referring to each other in those terms after a while. We teach magic that we see as invaluable assets. Most of our family learns and teaches what we consider the core to good networking. But of course, we also know someone to teach any kind of magic you could imagine. After our members know every kind of magic but master none of them. Interesting. So all-rounders. I've heard that some of our oldest members have mastered all the known types of sorcerer magic, but I doubt it. So do I, sir. So do I. Oh, that would be terrifying. Like like at the top of the fucking pyramid, like your diamond level Amway guy is also a wielder of like supreme magical power. Culture and English and technology, whoa, big on social, all the way to 6. Access to low-ranking government officials, police captains, libraries, exclusive events, consuming siphon, telelocation, thaumaturgy. Quiet space. So it sounds like there's some that are like shared and some that are like very specific to them. You're a master of networking, able to gain a connection to someone in record time when forming a bond. Okay, so there's stuff like every lineage has a bond manipulating family, and this is theirs. So those are cool. All right. play a member. I'm kind of skipping because I got to do ads very shortly, so I want to get the end here right before here. So navigate your way through the worst pyramid scheme in the world. Be a mover and shaker among the accursed society. Rebel against the family that looks to cut away all that you care about to service themselves. Like, yeah, I could see a really cool solo or like two or like story guide and one player game where you are playing where the player is a member of the network and like a whole story. Like that could be really interesting, or even like a group like that could still be a strong storyline. I really like that idea. Go ahead and give that idea a little thinky on your sides also while we do the ads. We'll be right back.
Curse you
Hey,
all!
keep doing that. Let me just fix that real quick. There we go. All right. We're back. We're back. And Phoenix, you're right. Constantine can't seem to keep any connection, but I can't picture him as a member of the network. I could see a whole arc, though. I could see an actual arc of the original, of like Hellblazer, like old school, like 90s Hellblazer. That was basically John Constantine joining the network, joining an organization of other sorcerers that is like this, that is all about sacrificing your connections and whatnot, and absolutely fucking wrecking them by just playing the game better than they ever could. Like that I could see. Like I don't have the skill to write that. Like bring back some of the old school Hellblazer writers, I think. Twitch emotes is like a real curse, right? Um, it keeps coming back. But like I could see that as like a full like a story. Like I would read that comic book arc. I would straight up read that comic book arc of John Constantine joining the network and just absolutely wrecking it from the inside, which would be probably a hell of a lot of fun. All right, let us continue with the next family, the Premier, which everybody apparently seems to hate, or at least most everybody seems to hate. Strength in Unity. Hey, bestie. Thanks for coming. Can't wait to show you around my house, and then we can have snacks and watch movies. I know, that's not what you're here for, but I'm not going to let you leave without at least having a coffee with me. I have this brand new cold brew I wanted to try out, and it's totally Instagrammable. Oh my goodness, fine. You want to know about my boring family? I have like better things to do than talk about old people, so I'll keep it short. We're like rich and all. That's what everyone says, right? I promise there's more to us than just money. We do all sorts of good works, providing for the sick and needy, giving to the poor, contributing to the arts. We're the good guys. The family premier is the longest unbroken line of sorcerers. No, our last name isn't Premier. That would be silly. At this point, the family is so enormous that the only ones really dedicated to genealogy can tell you that only the ones really dedicated to genealogy can tell you how we're all related. So we use Premier as a moniker. I low-key love how it sounds like we're always at a red carpet event. Anyway, all the late and great sorcerers have come from our family. I'm sure you've heard of the Hendricks and the Paulsons. They're all connected to us. Distant cousins, sure, but we've got fame in our blood. We give up everything important to maintain our power. I know you probably think we're all vapid airheads. My brother might be, but it isn't a family trait. We worked hard to get what we have, and the family maintains it for the sake of the newest generations. You can't imagine how hard it is to sacrifice anonymity, freedom, time, integrity, well-being, and our fondest memories just to keep our power. I kind of dig that. Like it's like that sacrifices are so variable that you can do something like, oh yeah, I'm basically sacrificing my anonymity, freedom, time, and then you get to integrity, well-being, and fun. But it's like, man, isn't that what all of us do with our day jobs? Uh, or isn't that what we've done? Honestly, like, if that's not a description of day-to-day life under capitalism, I don't know what is. So you know what? All of a sudden, the premieres are weirdly relatable. Um, our family has a lot of responsibilities. Sometimes I wish I could trade places with anyone else. Just a day or two without the burden of family responsibility would heal me. Instead, I follow the rules just like everyone else. We wouldn't want Daddy to cut us off, would we? It's all for a good cause. The premiers don't collect wealth, fame, and power because we're greedy. Okay, like maybe my Aunt Lauren does, but that isn't the norm. We do it to make the world a better place. We help everyone, and I do mean everyone. Mundane people, sure, but also supernaturals, other accursed, and we even have whole aid system for ghosts. We lead from the front, as the saying goes. Also, we don't kill things. It's against everything we stand for, and frankly, really disgusting. Our rituals are like really cool. We all dress up and we have a nice dinner or cocktails and then write our intentions down and burn them. It's really pretty when a group of us get together to do a ritual. That isn't actually a sacrifice, but because the things we sacrifice are often so ephemeral, it's nice to have a physical representation. Except for memories. If you decide to sacrifice a memory, it's gone the moment you burn the paper you wrote it down on. Be careful with that. We're not supposed to be able to get them back later. Do these 1% count donating to the dirty undead as a sacrifice? Yeah, without a doubt, my friend, without a doubt. Let's see what they think about the other ones. Relations. We often work closely with the network. I heard that once, a long time ago, their leader was a scion of the premier who broke away. I don't know if it's true, but if so, there aren't that many hard feelings. Interesting. I try not to talk to the Reeves at all if possible. They're all really weird and like they do a lot of that blood stuff. Ew. I appreciate what the unburdened are doing. There's a philosophy there that I respect, even if I don't truly get it. As much as it sucks to always feel so responsible, I don't think I could go so long without a bubble bath. If you have to spend time with an archivist, find one that's interested in going to exotic places to learn new things. The ones that sit around sifting through dusty old tomes are a total snooze fest. I really like my friends and the outcasts. They recognize how hard it is to keep the important things in your life, like friends and connections. And my family has a lot of connections with the hungry. I don't know which families, but there's some kind of alliance between them to draw lines around leadership. Personally, I think they're kind of scary to be around, but maybe in a fun way. Others call us preppies, materialistic, and several not nice names. They're just jealous of what we have. Within our family, we simply refer to each other by name. It's hard enough keeping everyone straight when you have 24 cousins just on your mom's side. We teach magic that helps us lead. Our institutions are exacting, and the family only condones specific avenues of magic. If you get caught learning from other sorcerer families, you'll probably just get a knowing nod as you get scolded. But if you learn something from one of the other accursed, expect a dressing down. They call that dirty magic. I call that fascinating. I didn't know that was a thing you could do, but I'm all in. I want to learn everything from the other accursed. I will never play anything but a sorcerer from now on, now that I know that that's a thing, that I can be a blue mage sorcerer, and I can go around learning powers from other accursed. That is me now. I'm not playing a one of these guys though. I'm not necessarily. I'm not. You know, the Premier are fine. I'm going to finish it up now, of course. They seem fine. I got nothing against them, but it's not the kind of character I'm interested in playing. I am interested in playing a character that does this all the time, though. That sounds like fucking fun. Hell yeah. I think any of the accursed can learn most spells, but not sure. You probably can. It sounds like this is more of a specific taboo within the family, but I guess it's allowed, or it's a thing that is possible. I'm just curious what the method is, and how easy or hard it is, and how easy or hard is my concept of playing a blue mage in in Curseborne is. So let's see here. Past skills: cultural leadership, persuasion, cool, solid. Big focus on social, a little bit of mental, cool. Access to government officials, a social clubs, bankers, minor royalty, checks out. Practice of acquisition, spiritualism, and thaumaturgy. Interesting. Secret spell, pack leader. Proud mages. I'm sure they've never heard of hubris. Exactly. Especially with hubris literally being one of the main torments of this type of accursed. Um, so let's see. You're always in a position to lead as the inheritance. You may make others do exactly what you say within reason. Once a scene, you may command someone to take an action on your behalf as long as it does not violate a bond or cause some undue hardship. A supernatural entity may make a class to ignore the command, but you gain a +1 enhancement to the roll. Interesting. So you basically get like a cantrip, a once a scene sort of like command cantrip, where you can just like tell a mook, hey, leave the room, and they'll be like, okay, stuff like that. I dig that. A little handy little cantrip for them. Also very flavorful for that, because it's like, yeah, like you walk in as one of the premier and just, no hesitation. You just, tell the host at the at the restaurant with no reservation, no, they just walked in off the street on a whim. Place is crowded. There's a line waiting. You walk up and you use this ability. You go, get us a table right now, please. And it just happens. Like perfectly flavorful. I love it. I love good stuff. Good stuff. Big fan of that. When casting spells with liminal attunement, leader hold one less curse, I guess, so liminal is cheaper. If you use psychic, you can learn people's bonds. That's interesting. And when casting spells with ethereal, you can increase the target's bond to you by 1 step. So another bond manipulator. Cool. That's 2. I don't think we've seen 2 in any of the other lineages. So that's interesting. Let's see. Play a premier if you want to be part of an elite group of sorcerers. Struggle with the ethics of having a ton of money and power. Push against a rigid family structure to do your own thing. Cool. I dig them. Overall, I like them. I'm not opposed to them. I don't think I would necessarily play one of them myself, but I can see them being fun. And they brought about several good ideas of things that I want to do. They brought up a few concepts. I like that. I did not expect to be able to do that, and now I want to. Now I want that to be a character that I make. So that's fun. Reeves. Okay, nobody likes the Reeves. Everybody's just like, the Reeves are all like blood. They like the blood and the sacrificey blood. Let's see. Are these the Ilthanatos? Ones. Let's see. Reeves. Life is a beautiful dance. Death, her stalwart partner. Can you feel the heat? Feel the heat. Why do I keep trying to sing? It's not. I shouldn't. Dan, stop that. Can you feel the heat of the noonday sun on your upturned face? That glorious, life-giving light, so harsh and burning, yet so important to everything? Isn't that the beauty of nature? The way it helps us grow and kills us in the same indifferent light of the sun. Can you imagine what it's like to have that kind of responsibility? To be the sun, doling out life and death in equal measure just by your mere existence? Isn't it just wonderful? That kind of power deserves respect. That kind of power yearns to be harnessed. We aren't the sun, but it inspires us. We aren't nature, but we follow her laws. We have our own indifferent, unfeeling power source, so why shouldn't we act like the sun, the storms, the wind, and the rain? We support nature in all her glory. Okay, so I was thinking of Thanatos, and now I'm seeing like druids. I'm seeing eco druids. Let's see. We support nature in all her glory. The cycle of life and death is as eternal as the stars in the sky. Look up to them and know for certain that as the seasons change, so does the sky, but it always comes back around again. Our lives are full of consumption, taking of the world and creating wonders and waste in equal measure. When we die, we give it all back, letting the world take from us. Think of it like tending a garden. You don't just feed and water your plants. You pull weeds, clip back overgrowth, cultivate helpful insects, and destroy the bad ones. Under your exacting care, delicate flowers flourish, and hardy plants remain in their place. It isn't personal. It's just the way things need to be. It's the beauty of balance. Balance in all things brings peace and joy. Of course, we all labor under a curse, don't be silly. Our curse is still just a part of the natural order. If you tend to it correctly, you can live in balance with it. Separate the wheat from the chaff and sacrifice what needs to go and be free. Sorry, is this set? I've read this says time-wise, as supposed to be modern day, Victorian, or something else. Modern day, yeah. This is meant to be taking place in the modern world. There are cars, there are cell phones, there are computers and internet. Um, but also there are these crazy blood sacrifice people. And it is a magical world apparently made of curses. But if you're not accursed, you're not magically attuned, then it looks a lot like our world. Let's see. So, dance in the moonlight every now and then. It's good for your soul. Inhale the smoke of burning wood and lighten your heart. Drink the blood of your victim and let their death have meaning. The ritual is what gives us the power of control, and the control is how we keep ourselves at balance with our curses. Don't just do what you need to survive. Embrace it, embody it, let it carry you away. Life and death are both a worthy sacrifice. Everyone always thinks we cruelly sacrifice creatures just for power. They don't understand us, and that's okay. Sacrifice death if it keeps the balance. Heal what is wounded. Take its pain upon yourself. Listen to a ghost tell its tales and lessen its burden. All of these are equally valid in keeping the balance. Are the accursed part of the balance? It's a question with no firm answers. We exist, and as far as anyone knows, curses and the afflicted have always been part of the world. I firmly believe that curses are an expression of the natural world, and we who suffer their burdens are as natural as a spring flower or a kitten. Some Reeves believe that the supernatural world is completely at odds with the natural world, and keeping the two in balance is important. A darker sect, ones I don't like to think about, believe curses are wholly unnatural and must be cleansed from the world to truly bring balance. All right, so we've got kind of, they feel very druidy, balance of nature. I could see a few different character concepts with this, both nature warrior and also like a I could see some assassin type stuff. I can also see like somebody kind of focused on the balance of chance. Could also be an interesting approach, I think. Let's see. Relations. In times of strife, the unburdened are as good allies as you would wish for. They understand balance and temperance more than most, and they don't take what they don't need. Okay, I think we're about to meet the unburdened. We'll see. On the other hand, the premier take and take and take and never get back. They think they deserve what they have, forgetting what it means to give back. I'd love to watch as nature took back what's hers from them. It's strange to think that a group of criminals might be the most like us, but the faceless understand the concept of balancing the scales. Their way is obtuse, coming at the problem from a different direction. I kind of like it. Beware an archivist. They want your magic and your secrets, and they are just as likely to destroy it as they are to share it with everyone who will listen. Oh, the dead are such a vital part of the pattern. I appreciate how they embrace their fate and turn it into a festival. I'll happily party with these specters any chance I get. They're like supernatural fertilizer, keeping all of us healthy and nourished in the face of curses. Interesting approach. Also, I don't know how the dead would feel about being compared to fertilizer. Sure, it's a positive comparison. It is, but mm, I don't spend a lot of time philosophizing. But if I did, it would be about the outcasts. Unequivocally, they are part of our world, but they represent a foreign event that has changed our ecosystem. I wonder if the outsides are truly so different from our world, or are they simply a part of the larger whole? Others call us druids or sometimes naturalists. We don't care that much what they call us. Within the family, so I'm not clearly the other one, like yeah, druids, like immediate. Yeah. Within the family, we call each other by botanical names. You'll find older family members calling you a seedling or sapling. You should simply refer to them as revered elder. We teach magic that promotes balance. We are most attuned to nature, so we teach magic that deals with the natural world, but we also recognize the supernatural's part in the fabric of the whole. We deal with dead things as much as living things and ensure our members know how to interact comfortably with both. Okay, so it sounds like we're going to get nature magic, spirit magic. Let's see, athletics, empathy, and medicine. All right, straightforward. Well balanced between mental and physical. No big focus on social. Access, botanical reserves, gamekeepers, zoos, mortal occultists, and butchers. Practices biomancy, consuming siphon, and spiritualism. Interesting, consuming siphon. And they share that one with the premier. That's interesting. Secret spell, blood offering. Your attunement to nature gives you a modicum of protection from chaotic environments. Downgrade the complication, you suffer all area effects. Downgrade the complication, you suffer all area effects that physically alter the area by 1 step. Okay, that needs to be rewritten, but I get what they're saying. Basically, it all goes down 1 step. Like it's basically like feedback from chaotic environments is less bad, which is it's weird because it kind of saying that even though these guys, again, it's magic. Magic wants sacrifice, so in a weird sort of way, they're saying like these guys are kind of right, at least in the sense that the way they use magic is more balanced. Like these blood sacrifices are kind of what the magic wants, the curses want, which makes sense. It's the reason they're called curses and not just magic, right? Damn, they are dark murder hippies. There's willow sapling. They're enjoying the blood of the squirrel. Exactly, exactly. Like Midsummer, the character class. Play a. Oh well, let's see. You may cast spells that would target an animal on plants and vice versa. Interesting. When casting spells with a physical attunement, bleed 1 additional curse die to inflict the bleeding status on your target. All right. And when casting spells with the ethereal attunement, you may increase a target's bond to you by 1 step. Okay. Play a reeve if you want to adjudicate the balance between life and death, be a force of nature, and dance naked under the full moon covered in blood. Who doesn't? Who doesn't? Let they who doesn't, who wouldn't dance naked in the woods under a full moon covered in blood, throw the first stone. Let us continue with the unburdened, or at least let's start in the unburdened. We'll see if we have enough time to finish them before we get to the next ad break. But I think we do. We're entering the third hour. I think we can make this. Let's see the unburdened, and yes, Psycho. I dig them. I do kind of dig them. The unburdened. Shed your possessions and achieve freedom. Okay, so these are the ascetics. So yes, I was right. They misspelled it. So aesthetics. They meant to say ascetics. I'm sure that'll be fixed in post. I don't need or want your sympathy. Why would I? I have everything and you have nothing. It's not the shit you own that defines you. It's the things you do. I am rich in community, friendship, and freedom. You, on the other hand, are low and beggarly in all the most important aspects of life. Now, get the fuck out of my face. The unburdened are not a family. We're a movement, a system of ideas. We choose to live this way, and we fucking love it. No hierarchy, no gods, no masters. Okay, so anarchists. Anarchist ascetic monks, sounds like. Let's see. Fuck society. We're building our own. Sure, we squat in buildings and dive in dumpsters, but we build a community. We take what the world rejects, discards, and undervalues because we know the true potential, and no one gets fucking left behind. These remind me a little bit of the Outcasts. Outcasts, is it? I think it was Outcasts from original Mage. Orphans. I'm thinking orphans. That they feel a little bit like orphans. Let's see. Uh, we take care of the people that society forgets. The premier might think they can just throw money at the world's problems and make them go away, but that doesn't fucking work in real life. Instead, we do the real work, helping the little people who the system has fucked over. We understand what it means to be neighborly when the whole world has lost its fucking mind. There's no solving the problems, only fixing what we can. We aren't trying to solve the world. We're just trying to live life on our own terms. We recognize that everything is trash. The world could be burning down around us, and people would still be arguing about parking in the wrong fucking spot. I'm gonna tell you, man. I feel the unburdened. I feel the unburdened deep in my soul right now. But also, I don't know if I would want to necessarily play one, because maybe I identify maybe a little bit too much, and I'm looking for fantasy and escape. Hey. We build what we sacrifice. Honestly, it's not a worthy sacrifice if you didn't make it with your own hands. How can you know the true value of a thing unless it is part of you? Everyone else says they sacrifice their time, energy, wealth, and even their fucking safety. But they have nothing to show for these things in the end. We create. We make something new and then leave it behind in the dust. We look out for each other. One day you have an extra apple. The next you need a cup of water. It's all about making sure that we're all taken care of. You'll never find a more helpful or giving group than the unburdened. If you need something, just let us know, and we'll get it, make it, or find someone who can. We have strange bedfellows. We're the welcoming sort, which means we end up with some interesting characters. Sometimes we attract folks who are just into what we're doing. These come and go. They don't necessarily love the minimalist lifestyle. We also get all sorts of exiles, castaways, fugitives, and runaways. We don't give two shits where you come from as long as you're willing to help out and keep your head down. We don't want your trouble fucking up our house. Collective action is hard as hell. Preach it, brother. Remember when I mentioned there's no hierarchy or masters? Well, that's viewed as a good thing, but sometimes it makes it harder than a bull's balls to organize anything. Your own little commune might be good at working together, but if you need to get a group of people together to do something big, you might be shit out of luck. Some people can get hard-headed about what it means to be an ascetic. See, that's how it's supposed to be written. I wonder though, to be fair, I think it was the premieres that were talking about that. And I think if it was in the premiere ones, then maybe, I don't know, actually, let me scroll up real quick. Was it the premieres that had that? Because if it might be, then I can see let's see. Unburdened. Possibly not. Okay, so it's not them. It's not them. I thought it was going to be them making fun of them, but no. So that's definitely a full-on, like, no, you used the wrong word. You used the wrong word. Anyway, here we go. So we're back here. Collective action is how to tell. Okay, here we go. Some people get hard-headed what it means to be an ascetic. And yes, that's what we are in essence, but I see it as much more. Anyway, if there's one area we don't see eye to eye, it's what it means to be unburdened. Some see it as living a carbon-neutral life, always giving back after taking, always building and rebuilding. Some see it as never once accepting worldly possessions or sacrificing the ones you do get. Others think it means no one has ownership over anything, it's all free game. I know a few who think it means we should just burn the world and start over from scratch. I met one guy who thought it was his personal duty to punish anyone who he deemed greedy or materialistic. God, that sounds like too much work. It does sound like a lot of work, my friend. And you know what? We'll see what you think of everyone else when we get back from the ads, because it is, once again, ads time. You know the drill. Print the button. Be right back. And we're back. All right, let's see here. So, what do the unburdened think of the other families and/or lineages? Let's see. Relations. If I hear one more comparison between us and the Reeves, I'll be sick. Please find something else to think about beyond healing nature. We aren't healing anything. We're surviving. I feel that one. The Premier think they have this burden of responsibility that they have to make up for. I guess if you want to go on that guilt trip because you were born into privilege, be my guest. Or you could just count your blessings and make the most of it. I can't believe the network is still gaining members. Can't anyone else see that they aren't helping anyone other than the people at the top? Oh, sure, they've got people who can help you, that is, until you no longer serve a purpose and they cut you off cold. Wake up. I'm always intrigued by the primal and how much they give up just to try to be a part of society. That place isn't for us, so please stop trying so hard to fit in. Fucking embrace your wild side. We'll all be happy for it. We'll all be happier for it. I identify so hard with the outcasts. Of course, they identify with the outcasts. They know exactly what it's like to know that they don't belong and just make the best of a shit situation. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't seen a few hanging out in our communes. They've got their demons, sure, but don't we all? The others call us street rats, roaches, and sometimes black witches. I get that last one, and I kind of love it. We call ourselves witches, and sometimes comrade if you're feeling communist enough. We teach magic that helps us survive this fucked up world. We have a strong belief in the DIY lifestyle, and so we're always looking for spells and rituals that will help us craft something new. Everything's open game, but when it comes to what we know and teach, it's mostly the healing and growing stuff, and the stuff that lets you get around a hostile city safely. I dig them. I really do dig the overall character. I don't know if I would play them unless it was for a very specific story, but I do overall dig them. Medicine, survival, and technology, cool. Focus on physical and social, fair. Access to ramshackle home, administrator privileges in a witch-themed Facebook group, dirt on your creditors, and an anarchist commune. Practices biomancy, illusion, and telelocation. Secret spell, useful tool. Major path inheritance. You pass through the world unattached to society's trappings. Witnesses for you have a built-in level of arcane. Witnesses forget about you when recalling a scene and people overlook you. If you do something to draw attention to yourself, you may bleed a curse die to have witnesses describe and correct details about it. Supernaturals can invoke a clash using your survival versus their enigmas to ignore the penalty, but you gain a +1 enhancement to the action. Okay. All of a sudden, I'm interested in playing them again because I love Arcane. This was always one of my favorite sort of abilities from Mage, especially since at like the higher levels of Arcane, it was actually more of a problem than a tool. Motifs when casting spells with Psychic, you may believe an additional curse die to declare that an object you need or that will be advantageous to you is in the scene. Not only is it there, it is near the hand. That's wild. That's super useful. Okay, never mind. I actually do want to play one of these now. When casting spells with the emotional attunement, you may bleed an additional curse die and add an additional target. Cool, solid. And to hold the hold or bleed cost to cast spells with the ethereal attunement is reduced by 1 to a minimum of 0 curse die. Cool, so you're better at ethereal spells. Play at Unburdened if you want to be a modern witch, anarchist, or archivist. Live on the fringes of society, fighting to make a difference, and embrace a DIY aesthetic, creating a unique style of magic. I really do kind of dig this. Actually, at first I was like, okay, they're cool. They're just kind of like trying to do their own thing, but the actual sort of mechanics that you get and everything around it, there's enough flavor there that I like it. I turned around on this. I actually do kind of want to play one. All right, now we're getting into some of the practices and the powers and how they use them. So let's see. Invocation practices. Sorcerers claim their magic comes from inside themselves, though many know it's a side effect of the curse. How else do they have access to so many more spells than any other lineage? No one really knows if sorcerers develop their magical practices over time or learn them from someone else, but they have always called them magic spells and referred to all as a group invocations. Each family focuses on 3 primary invocations, but all sorcerers have the capability to learn any invocation spell with the right teacher. Other, more esoteric invocations exist, but few families concentrate on those. Sorcerers with high entanglement have been known to create their own invocations from what they've garnered from watching other supernaturals or manipulate a curse so directly they warp reality one-off invocation spells. Ooh. Each family has a starting access to 3 invocations from the sorcerer list. Sorcerers can learn new spells from any invocation, but must have someone to teach them spells outside their family's taught invocations. Below each invocation, we have listed the spells available. Character creation. Okay, so this is stuff we have access to at character creation. Solid, let's go. So acquisition, let's see. Sorcerers who perfect acquisition can take what they want from others. This is often temporal in nature, taking someone's wealth or personal possessions out from under them without anyone the wiser. But sometimes this can translate to more esoteric things. So powers within that: transmutation, get an item that is perfect for the task at hand; instant gratification, steal an object off another person; social saboteur, remove someone's bonds; simpatico, take someone's negative status effect; and seize the spotlight, become the center of attention to better influence others. Cool. See, biomancy, arts of healing and dealing with nature are comprised of biomancy. Sorcerers can attune themselves to the living essence of the world around them and either make it grow or wither in equal measure. So envenom makes an ordinary weapon poison. Photosynthesis, see and hear through plant life, that's interesting. Preservation, prevents someone or something from being damaged. Okay, proliferate, causes plants to grow large obstructions. Regrowth, gain regeneration after you take damage, useful. Consuming siphon, okay, I was curious about this one. Allows the sorcerer to steal the very essence and life force from others. This could be as simple as stealing health, but could also allow the sorcerer to take someone's expertise or relationships. Drain quality, make a magical attack and steal the target's spells. Experience mine, steal someone else's expertise in an area. Life absorption, make a magical attack to steal someone's life force. Mental vivisection, learn someone's supernatural status. Power tap, steal a target's magical essence. Interesting. Oh, consuming siphon. So it sounds like if I want to play that blue mage concept, I'm going to need consuming siphon to start with, as a sort of as a base. Illusion, the ability to trick the mind falls within illusion. From creating phantom objects to influencing someone's behavior, a sorcerer can become a master of misdirection. Felix, you want that? Yeah, definitely. Like the whole consuming siphon stuff it sounds really interesting. So let's see. Body double, create a fake version of yourself to fool attackers. Camouflage, disguise one object as another one, fooling even those who touch it. Ooh. Hallucination, create an illusion that you can direct as will. Overload, yeah, exactly. You steal bits of others. Again, like Blue Mage, I think that could be a pretty solid base to start with. Now for that, I can see 2 types of Blue Mages. I mean, the first one would be a very greedy Premier, but again, the Premier kind of frown on that. But the other one is actually an Unburdened. I could see an Unburdened who actually has like friends among other accursed, other sort of like street savvy accursed. And so has learned and built several, of his spells around their abilities, around their powers. That could be, I think that could be like an interesting character concept. Let's see here. Where were we? Oh yeah, illusion, body double, create a figuration of yourself, camouflage, hallucination, overload, make a psychic attack, extremity, confuse and overwhelm, and prestige, see through magical illusions. Cool. All right, spiritualism concerns itself with the unseen world. Much of its magic can be translated to any supernatural creature. Its primary purpose is dealing with incorporeal creatures. Okay, so basically dealing with ghosts and spirits. Forbidden temptation, draw the attention of all incorporeal entities in the area. Formless barricade, create a barrier that incorporeal creatures cannot pass through. Present dismissal, banish a supernatural creature from your area. Psychic barrage, magical attack, cancel them. So magic missile. Ring silent bells, convey a message to a nearby supernatural creature. Interesting. Okay. Telelocation. Aha. Allows the sorcerer to move herself or objects with her will. She can cause an item to fly through the air or step between 2 entirely different locations. Telelocation concerns itself with all things telekinetic or teleportation. Flit, to teleport instantly from an incoming attack. Hammer space, yeah, create a pocket of space outside the world that you can put items into. Portal, create a portal between 2 locations. Telekinesis. So I love that you can start, like this is a level 1, like character creation. You can have a portal and just straight up teleportation. Those are usually pretty high, much higher power. Again, we'll have to see what the system is and how compatible those powers are with use at low levels. I wonder how the actual mechanical thing works, but it is telling that you do have access to them from character creation immediately. Most games keep the teleportation stuff behind a bit of a skill gate, so we'll see. I also love, like, look, correspondence is one of my favorite spheres. Yeah, I'm gonna take telelocation is always gonna be fun, but also like I wonder what the mechanics are like to keep somebody, because you telelocation is like anything teleportation or portal wise or whatever. Unless you're very clear about the rules, boy, you can break so much stuff. I enjoy that they actually use the term hammer space rather than something fancy. Right? Exactly. I love that. Let's see. Okay, so thaumaturgy. Thaumaturgy encompasses the classic mastery over the elements as well as more esoteric elements that make up the world, such as time and fate. Sorcerers can manifest, manipulate, and destroy these elements with this spell practice. Okay, so alter fate, change someone's goals and aspirations. Bombardment, unleash a ranged elemental attack against the foe. Elemental armor, gain immunity to special elements. Summon imp, summon an element. Okay, so this is like real wizard shit. Thaumaturgy is full on wizard shit. Time warp, speed up someone's actions. Yeah, yeah. This is all like elements, fireball, ice bolt, alter fate, time warp. This is wizard shit. Thaumaturgy, straight up. And that's it. That's where we end. We end on wizard shit, which, fair, fair. That is. Oh yeah. By the way, yeah. Here's your wizard shit, nerd. That's where we end on sorcerers. So wow, okay. So where do we? I honestly, sorcerers is a solid A. The only reason it's not an A plus is because I need more details on some technically stuff. Wizard shit always is a very struggle bus. Always, always. I like it. I like it. I like what they're doing with sorcerers. Honestly, I definitely I suspected it was going to be my favorite, and my suspicions have been confirmed and are correct. I like what they're doing here with it. I like the mere concept, the whole big sacrifice thing. I like that. It almost feels like, how can I put this? The where's the family like listing here? Here we go. Um, so the main difference between the families, or at least one of the main differentiators, is what each one of them is willing to sacrifice, right? So the archivists sacrifice knowledge, or all their sacrifices revolve around knowledge. The faceless sacrifice, their sacrifice is the danger that they put themselves in. The network sacrifices connections in the network, mostly to mortals. The premier sacrifice their riches, which they make sure they have a lot to sacrifice, and the time and effort and whatever. Reeves are full on like druid, like old school, yeah, sacrifice, bite the head off a chicken. And the unburdened sacrifice. What exactly do they sacrifice? Wait, all of a sudden I'm blanking. What? Like, we know what the. I mean, I guess what they sacrifice is their connection to the world, in a sense, right? Uh, yeah, the things they build, right? Like, we build what we sacrifice. So I guess what they're sacrificing is. Oh, okay, so what they build things. So they'll build, like, let's say they will come in and they will help build a free store, right, or a community center or something like that. And their whole thing is like, once they're done, they won't destroy it, but they'll walk away from it, right? And that's kind of their sacrifice. We make something new, and then leave it behind in the dust. Like, their whole point is that there should be something, but they like if it's making a proper sacrifice under this philosophy, means you kind of have to like put some blood, sweat, and tears, right? You have to actually care about this. You have to actually get invested in it, and then once like it starts going, then you cut ties. That's your sacrifice. I mean, I'll give you some points, but also like that's why I think we need some like guidelines as well, because some things are, how can I put this? If as a reeve, murdering a goldfish gets me a curse die, and that's just that. And I understand that, there is the philosophy and the get rich quick philosophy, and there's the whole philosophy of some methods are going to be better for acquiring power quickly than others. I get it. But from a gameplay perspective, like if one of them, like your method of sacrifice, I mean, I guess they most of them suffer from that. Like, again, I want more guidance around sacrifice. Like, all right, what about people like the unburdened? Like, I don't have time to start, grow, establish, and then abandon a social movement. I need to cast fireball now. So you know, and I guess that can change the approach. It can be like, all right, well, if you're playing a certain type of character, you're gonna have like scenes, sort of longer scenes during which, and again, that's why I think at some point you should be able to gain more than one curse die from a sacrifice, right? Because if you're gonna like say, okay, so we're gonna play out, we'll do it in what's the term I'm looking for here? Montage mode, I guess. But we're gonna play out the week that you spend doing X, Y, and Z, um, and all that is going to give you like one curse die, right? Or it's like, okay, cool. So over the process of this, you gain like four curse die. As you don't, just because of how you work, you don't have a lot of opportunity to gain more later, but at least you're able to gain a lot at a time, I guess, maybe. And then others that are more willing to make different kinds of sacrifices have different advantages. I guess that could work. I definitely think we need more guidance on the sacrifice system, which is the main thing that's keeping me from giving this an A plus. Because the sacrifice system is what I like the fact that this whole sacrifice thing is the main thing that I kind of like about the sorcerers. But I definitely, because of that, I need more. It needs more meat. That bone needs more meat. Maybe build something small. In theory, should take a scene to do. Maybe a small thing and throw it onto the world. I guess. As I said, it's a matter of interpretation, which is why I think we the book would is doing us a disservice if it doesn't give us a lot more sort of examples and go into it, rather than just sort of this quick sort of bare bones and run with it kind of vibe. But again, this is meant to be kind of bare bones because the game is not done. So, with all that in mind, solid A for Sorcerers. I think my favorite out of the bunch. Several ones that I want to play, and we've got time. We're gonna have we still got a few. We've got like 10 minutes before the next ad break anyway. So let me get the next PDF. Did I already download to E? I don't think I've downloaded to F. No. So let me go get that from. Let me go get that from the website real quick.
Curse you all!
Curse you all! All right, let's see here. Kickstarter. And let's go. Let's go ahead and I should just white websites. There we go. Okay, and let's go to updates. And let's go. Good. I'm glad you enjoyed. Let's see here. So after this, we've got Sorcerers 2E. Okay. Backers only. Curseborne draft manuscript 3. Wait. I think the most recent one has a list of all the links. Let me just go down here. No. This is not what I thought it was. Oh, here we go. Yes. Okay. So after 2E Sorcerers, okay, so it's preview 3. So we've got to get through before Thursday. Curseborne Manuscript Preview 3, Story Path and Making an Accursed. So that's what we're going to start with in a second. Then Preview 4, Accursed Magic. Then 5, Story Guiding, and 6, Antagonists. Okay, so 5 and 6, I suspect I'm going to kind of gloss over real quick. We'll have a little bit on, I want to look at some antagonists, and I'm sure we'll look at some of the stuff in the story guiding section, depending on the information that's there. But definitely the story path, the system, and making an accursed we want to spend some time with, and I definitely want to spend some time with accursed magic. So let's see if we can get through. So in an ideal world, we would get through at least a little bit of story path now, and mostly story path and making an accursed tomorrow entirely, and hopefully at least start Accursed Magic, and then by Thursday finish up Accursed Magic and just do a quick skim over story guiding antagonists, and we will hopefully be done by Halloween. Let's see. Wish me luck. Wish me luck. But in the meantime, let me grab that preview 3 and save it here. Save, please. And right there. All right, and let me open it here. Computer, Curseborne, and manuscript 3. Let's go. There we go. All right, let me see. Is it showing on screen for you? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Haha. Backer draft manuscript part 3: The Accursed Story Path Ultra and Making an Accursed. Look at that. Look at that. That's a handsome looking game. I kind of dig it. 2020. I don't know if that's the official final cover, but it's a good cover. I don't mind it as a cover. Let's see. The Accursed. Let me tell you a little secret. I fucking love being cursed. Sure, I feel like shit once in a while. We'll hate the world for what this ancestor or that mythological beast did to me and mine. But all in all, life's not crap. For years, I felt like I had a piece missing. But I got friends, some cursed, some not. There's always a place to go when I'm upset or angry, mostly angry. I can talk with animals. How cool is that? I can make my hands burst into flame. I can take the form of an enormous, terrifying creature, burst into a fast rally, and scream the Internationale at them when they shit themselves in fear. You know, all in good fun. So, dump that self-doubt shit in the bin. Imposter syndrome? Please. They're the opposite of an imposter. You're here with us because you're one of us. That's all there is to it. Anyway, that's all I gotta say for this one. I'll pass over to one of the more serious speakers who'll tell you all about life's struggles, how to find buddies, blah, blah, blah. Peace out, bitches. Okay, I don't know who that is, but we like her. To live as an accursed is to live an existence of extremes. Your successes are epic. Your failures can be lethal. You're afflicted in a way few humans can understand. Managing that life requires a judicious amount of patience and not a few tricks up your sleeve. If things aren't going your way, you can tip the scales with a spell here or there. Of course, conducting fate to your tune means you'll inevitably reap a symphony of consequences. You might be able to stave off problems for a short while, or even overcome adversity and obstacles with the abilities afforded by your damnation, but you are invariably cursed, and there's no avoiding that. Your curse makes you more capable than mundane people. It makes you more powerful, even, but it also makes you a target to other supernatural creatures. It puts your life at risk, and it threatens all your loved ones in one fell swoop. Accursed origins. Ophelia discovered her accursed nature when she woke up in her bed after having no memory of coming home from a late night out. She had the worst hunger pangs she had ever experienced. She tried everything to sate the cravings, emptying her fridge and kitchen cupboards, gorging and purging. It was only when her boyfriend came to investigate the noise that she realized what her hunger was for. Now, there's a dead, exsanguinated body on the kitchen floor, surrounded by empty packets and puddles of sick. But at least the hunger has abated. For now. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. I'll find a way to bring you back. I will. I just need to speak to my dad. He'll know what to do. Georgie discovered he was accursed when an uncle he'd never heard of invited him to a family retreat he'd never visited for the announcement of an inheritance he had no knowledge of. Curious, he showed up. The following days and nights were a blur as he was introduced to his family, Legacy, their horrifying gifts, and the offer: accept a role in the family and receive our support. Reject it and struggle and die alone. They told him, you're damned either way. So he took the deal. They're a weird bunch, but how am I supposed to turn down this inheritance? My life's been shit for years. It's not like I believe in curses. I love these. So these are all like Death by Snoo Snoo. Yeah, pretty much. So these are like little examples. Okay, these are 3 samples. Let's read the 3rd one. I may skip some of this stuff because a lot of this is just kind of like setting stuff. And while I do want to go through this, I'm just not gonna just completely read out the whole book. Just kind of get a little bit of the flavor as we go. Let me get this last sample. Let's see. Rishva was an avid book collector and dealer, visiting out-of-the-way curiosity shops, auction houses, and second-hand sellers for the next big prize. He willingly entered a deal and knowingly sacrificed a part of himself to get his hands on a gold-leaf, bejeweled copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam. Now he can't stop collecting, but he's found a family who share his greed for rarities and lost knowledge. The way I see it, right, is fortune favors the bold, yeah? I wouldn't be where I am today if not for risks. I can stop any time I want, but why would I? What's there to gain from stopping now, huh? A character's entrance into the role of an accursed may be a personal journey or a communal one. A character may discover the damnation accidentally at the worst possible moment, or have it explained to them by a gentle, or not so gentle, mentor. If a fellow accursed approaches, introducing themselves as sharing a bloodline, common interest, or shared heritage, then the newly accursed is in luck. Even if the words the accursed speaks are hostile, frightening, or utterly fantastical, at least it's forewarning. For those who step over the threshold alone, damnation can be a terrifying thing. Oh, okay, so we're going to get examples. Okay, let's see here. So, for a primal, his first signs of damnation may be physical. A transformation into what he'll learn is his wild form. But the primal curse may also appear in subtle ways. An affinity for animals, or more commonly, finding animals are friendlier and more trusting towards him without any prior grooming or training. A barely repressible anger at injustices and humiliations. A desire to stalk dangerous wilderness or become intensely territorial over the tower block the character lives in or the church he attends. The primal has the creature murmuring to him even before its feral nature consumes his heart. The hungry must be made intentionally by another hungry, giving her their craving. She might not realize what she's accepted, but it soon manifests as cravings of an unnatural, harmful nature, whether for blood, souls, emotion, or other stranger fare. This needn't manifest immediately as a desire to devour any poor bastard in front of her, although, from the example, it can. Instead, it might be a slow journey of eating too rare steak before drinking the juices from the grill and then deciding it's better at room temperature, resulting in a late-night expedition to the local slaughterhouse to grab some buckets of gore. Before the hungry knows it, she's biting into living animals, and eventually, humans. A sorcerer walks a strange path into their damnation. It's said they embrace the damnation wittingly and willingly, though this isn't always true. It's possible for a sorcerer to receive their damnation from crossing the wrong witch or reading the wrong cursed tome. What marks a sorcerer is their curiosity and craving. A mundane human laboring under a curse may flee from the pain of its downsides, whereas a sorcerer keeps on moving forward, as if the cost has no true meaning to her. In truth, she is already damned, and there's no cost too great to feed her addiction. The outcast's journey from human to accursed is always troubling. If they were not told from the beginning what they were, they suffer until the damnation takes hold. They'll always feel as if something's not right about their lives. They sense that person is hiding something. That alley should be avoided. That book should not be read after sunset. They chalk it up to paranoia until the sudden, stunning moment where everything becomes clear. They were never human at all. Everything has been a lie, and they're at the center of a lifetime-length fraud. For the dead, the step from humanity to accursed is perhaps the starkest. It's possible to see the signs before death. Pets avoid the character. She's always been cold, physically and emotionally. She's never feared death or what follows it. Her dreams are consistently morbid. But when she dies, and all dead must die, she is forced to face the reality of the situation. She's no longer among the living, and any attempt to pretend otherwise is doomed to tragedy. The journey for solitary accursed can be bleak and dangerous. Mentors of the same lineage, family members reaching out with a guiding hand, or comradeship from fellow accursed in a burgeoning crew may be all that's needed to make a curse feel like anything other than soul-destroying. And now we've got some guidance on what happens if you reject the curse. So that's interesting. We'll look at that a little bit when we get back from the ads. It's that time again. All right, you know the drill. Ads. Be right back.
you all!
All right, we're back. We're back. Welcome in, folks. All right, speaking of curses and cursing you all, what happens? What happens, ladies and gentlemen, when you reject a curse? Well, let's see. Some accursed fight against fate, as soon as they discover the truth of their new existence. This is easier, at least at first, for sorcerers primal and hungry, as their damnations tease them, needle them, and finally risk unleashing after days, weeks, or sometimes months of suppression, depending on the accursed's lifestyle. Even if they refuse to accept that their damnation is present and that this is their life now, the cover they adopt and mundanity they attempt to emulate is ultimately all just a mask, and deep down, they know it. One cannot deny a curse forever, at least not without splashing its ill effects on everyone around them. Nobody can make me do this. If I lock myself away, tell all my friends to fuck off, maybe I'll make up that I'm sick. Maybe that'll work. But I am sick. What am I supposed to do? A dead may not know he's cursed before his return, though some are informed in advance through ritual, vision, or guidance from a spiritual mentor, or of their family to be. But he sure as hell knows it when he finds himself dead and possessing his own body to survive. What? Sweetheart, I love you. I'm gonna pick you up. You put your nails in me, you sweet beloved, sweet kitty. There we go. There we go. We just wanted to get you on camera. We just want to get you on camera because you stabbed me with your little stabby knives. Yeah, you did. You did. Oh, she's just stabbing me now. There we go. Well, you know what happens. You come up to me with your little stabby knives and you get picked up. You get picked up. That's what happens. I mean, she's adorable. It's adorable. It's the most adorable. Yeah, she's making a sacrifice. Exactly, Struggle Bus. Exactly. That's her sacrifice. The game is very clear that it doesn't have to be your blood. It doesn't have to be your blood. And it's gonna work too. She just made a sacrifice, and then I gave her love and cuddles, and later I'm gonna give her food. The sad part is she's right. Let's see here. A dead may not know he's cursed. Okay, I'm gonna skip forward a little bit, but we get the idea. It's basically telling us that hey, whatever it is, you can't you can reject it, but you can't help it. The curse, once the curse hits, it hits. It's basically what they're saying. Cool. Let's see, the lineage. Your lineage defines your cursed's life. It informs the character's damnation, but more importantly, it is something that has marked and shaped the character for possibly longer than they know. Person may be a primal for decades before the damnation overtakes them for the first time. They could have been cursed to return as one of the dead their whole life without any knowledge of what fate was in store. A lineage doesn't remove free will or the possibility of happenstance altering an accursed's life, but it does provide a fork in the road that, when reached, must be traveled down. From that point, that person is primal, dead, hungry, outcast, or sorcerer. Lineages are curses. They force a character to consume unholy sustenance, know no restraint even in the face of death, and never have true control over the furious elements rolling inside. By being hungry, an accursed befriends, wins trust, even falls in love, before finding herself draining her partner's soul in heaving mouthfuls. By being a sorcerer, an accursed betrays all those around him to cast just one more spell. All they need to do is climb on the pile of their friends' corpses to reach where it's hidden. Lineages mold the character, but leave enough room for a person to grow, change, and adapt. They may even come to like the finished product. There's always a sting in the tail. It's called the damnation for a reason. Lineages are blessings of a mixed variety. Okay, so this is all flavor, right? But it's good flavor. It's informational flavor. But there's nothing mechanical here, so I'm kind of just very quickly looking over it. Anything that's bold that will get my attention, of course. So let's see here. These providences often spell practices to an accursed. Spells are how a curse. Okay, so actually, no, wait. Each lineages. It's actually some explanation here. Actually, no, wait a minute. Each lineage's damnation comes from a different providence, which means so do their innate gifts. Many such damnations originate from some begging, stealing, or borrowing these gifts, only to end up cursed through the course of it. Maybe someone didn't uphold their part of a binding contract, or a group overreached or broke an ancient law. The dead have a tale saying that they snatched their gift from an unwilling immortal. While they gained the eternities they sought, it came with the terrible price of never again living. The outcasts argue over the details of their providence, but the common belief is they were stripped of their outsider states and sent to live among mortals roles for crimes against the established order. Whatever the truth, each lineage took something along with their curse that sets them further apart from that of rank humankind. These providences oft open spell practices to an accursed. Spells are how a curse manifests in world-altering ways. Some spells are simple and subtle, convincing the accursed that they are simply a natural extension of their damnation. Others are harder to enact, requiring a force of will and a wrangling of the curse that cannot be denied. The latter is what a curse referred to as curse bleed, as they literally project their curse into the world. Casting such spells is always worth considering, as a result of doing so is giving up a small part of whatever control the accursed has on their damnation. So this is what we keep saying, like, oh yeah, bleed, one curse die to X, Y, or Z. So this is the in-game reasoning behind that. That basically you're pushing your curse out onto the world. Okay, cool. Let's see. Lineages are open networks, exchange, yada, yada, yada. This is character voice. I'm going to kind of skip it. The family, lineages are open. Families are closed societies with secrets, rituals, and codes for entry. Just because an accursed is a primal, that doesn't make them a sphinx, and the sphinx are likely to remind the drooling wolf, twitching spider, or unblinking toad of that fact, while reminding them to get off their expensive rug. Nevertheless, families are where most accursed go with problems because families offer control, and while control can be abused for a time, it offers reassurance to unstable lives. Interesting. Okay, so there's the whole separation between lineage and family. A lot more explanation. One of us. Players in their story guides should regularly discuss the relationship between a character and their families. Yeah, fair. Family may feel antipathy toward a new member of the group in the first few months. This point could turn to pride once they prove themselves, yada yada. Okay, ways to kind of increase your connection with your family. Good, we're talking about some of that. The crew, and then now we got the player characters. Now we got the PCs. So, a family can be many things: a source of ancestral purpose and pride, a potential sponsor, supplier of secrets, a place where one feels permanently judged and pitted against one's kin. The thing a family can rarely be is a bastion of friendship, trust, and hope. Families are too prone to abandon their offspring to be considered friendly. Trust? Would you trust the ancestors who made you this way? As for hope, a family is symbolic of an entrenched curse. They represent something far from a positive expectation. And a curse without friends and reliable companions truly is cursed. Few accursed choose to unquestioningly serve their families, with each one having their own failings, dark secrets, and horrors. Such characters become tools and mouthpieces for the families, blah, blah, blah. Okay, we've got a lot more information. Okay, here we go. Some ideas on how you can bring a party of a curse together. I like this. Just suggestions and ideas. Because, as we mentioned earlier, this is taking place in modern day, so meet at a tavern to accept a quest, not really available. So I like that there's some ideas. I like some of these, like the will reading could be fun. A disaster, they're all in the same location when a crisis strikes. Damned mystery, mutual interest, investment opportunities could be fun. The thread. Oh, this could be, yeah. One character's best friend is being blackmailed. The blackmailer is the brother of another character. They're being forced to extort the friend because they're in debt to a gangster. The gangster is another character's cousin. The cousin has been accused of a crime she didn't commit. The accuser is another character's employer, and so on. Through fated threads, the crew must come together to resolve their entangled problems. That could be fun, but it's also the most complicated one of the bunch. I like throw a hurricane at them. I like that approach. That's some clue level conspiracy, and I'm here for it. Like, yes, but also it's work. But I guess if you design that from the beginning, that could be fun. That could be fun. I could see some character creation systems that to do that. That could be fun. Let's see. The ties that bind. Bondmates are more than simple friends and lovers, so linked to supernatural level. Their curse is knotted in an astral entanglement. Oh, hey, here we go. So there's apparently a mechanical aspect to your party, to your group, to your bond. Let's see here. The keepers of the broken bind call this fate. Okay, so I mean, yeah, we're talking about bonds, right? We're talking about the social system. The Premier call it cognatic union. The Shays, a little less arcanely, call it the worst fucking luck. This bond is akin to a subtle empathic link. When an accursed's bondmate, typically within their crew, is in danger or pain, they feel a twinge of something amiss, as if their curse is being strained, pulled taut, and liable to fray or snap. It's difficult to define the feeling of wrongness, but an accursed certainly feels when a cohort is imperiled and their mutual curse bonds are at risk. Interesting. Likewise, an accursed feels when one of their bondmates has achieved success, attained the great victory for themselves or their family, or, in mechanical terms, hit a long-term aspiration. Again, there's rarely a significant feeling of joy or relief, though the dead feel such things more acutely than accursed from other lineages. But a bondmate's happiness is something all accursed in a crew can share, even if it's only a brief swell. That's kind of sweet. I like that. Curses have a way of rearing their heads just when life seems good. This supernatural link is far from invasive and doesn't manipulate emotions to feelings that weren't previously present. The nature of a bond is such that, as a keeper of the broken vine might say, it was always fated that these accursed would find each other, and similarly fated that they would fight and die for each other. A bond is an enhancement to an existing relationship, and its roots run deep. The outcasts know this better than anyone, as the links they have to their crew are reminiscent to those of their forebears to the creatures that still inhabit battlegrounds and the outside. Crews work together, they battle together, and they share among each other, yada, yada, yada. Many objectives accrue and occurs. Okay, so some mutual goals. Ancestors fall, freedom beckons, a mixed thread, come out and play. That could be fun, yeah. He's the Ripper, rampant hex, curses are ever present, but curses are thankfully not ubiquitous. This is the last week, and one of the neighborhoods spat out 6 new bloods in as many days. Ooh. Okay, so there's some good stuff here. Some crew styles. Okay, good. I like that. Some guidance on different types of crews. Some crews are used to accursed. Okay, good stuff. Do we have anything? Okay, some separation. Social crews, task crews. It's a cursed existence. I like that you're being given a lot of ideas for how you can, like, different ways of creating a crew in this game, different reasons for bringing people together. Because let's face it, in a modern world, you kind of need sometimes a little bit of help or guidance to get people together in something, especially if you want them to actually work together as a group. Let's see. There's a cursed existence. Everyone has a damnation. Okay, so I guess this is going to be guidance on how you do it. Common term on the cursor is the works. Describe what they do as a job is too mundane. To call them missions is too militant, even if it's occasionally accurate. So the cursor understand they take the works and embark on ways of bettering their lives, improving the lives of those around them, and expanding their power. So this is basically like, all right, what's day-to-day life, right? Day-to-day life in an accursed world. The world we live in. Territories. Yada yada. Okay, the difference between like regions. Okay, some of this stuff I actually want to dive into with more time later. Like, but I mean, this I kind of want to dive into for myself, because at this point, this is like ideas, which is cool, good, and I certainly hope the book brings more. But here we go, stuff like this, little specific examples. Storytech uses unusual territories as story seeds to set a fresh port in Union. So these are different territories that you can. So stores 24 ammunition stores were built into the size of a hill and designed to withstand direct hit from bombers. It's back in 1946. Now it sits empty in an abandoned military base. A vlogger streaming from the closed-off site streamed a banging sound from within the storehouse last year, but now it's apparent he never made it home after he was stripped to the site. Okay, so these are little story plots, little story ideas, little territory, little places where weird shit can happen. Wardrobes. Some territories are incredibly small. This one is a wardrobe in a kid's bedroom, and surprise, surprise, the kid thinks there's a monster living in there. The local poltergeist dismisses the claim until the entire family winds up massacred in an apparent home invasion. Okay, I like this. Good little story seeds and ideas. Fun stuff. What was this? The world beyond. Most of the Gurshans spend their lives among humankind, living in houses and apartments. Some try to uphold their professions. The outcasts, everyone knows the top layer of the top of deeper realm by liminal spaces through hazard gates and Okay, now we're gonna talk about the stuff. Okay, so ooh, temptation. Okay, this stuff we're gonna dive into more details. What time is it? You got 4:50. Got 10 minutes. Let's read through a couple of these places, and then tomorrow we can dive in a little bit deeper, because these sound like a good fun exploration. So let's see. So the following examples are some of the most visited spaces in the outside, accessible via liminalities, shattered spaces, and battlegrounds. All right, so temptations. At first, it's typical for an accursed to want to establish all moorings to the world they've known their entire life, as they realize that the communities they grew up in, the mortal families that raised them, and the jobs they held are nothing but shells for the truth. They develop desires to explore the world beyond. There are many lures for what exists in the outside. The promise of a world that won't judge those with curses, the possibility of heightened powers, the hope for a future without danger, the knowledge that leaving one's mortal family and friends behind will, in fact, keep them safer than remaining in their presence. It's a bleak realization, but that doesn't prevent it from being true. The temptations exist beyond passive promise. A creature known as the Bandy Man visits a cursed low on their luck and desperate for a change, and offers them a route to salvation in exchange for favors. The battle forged always leave a wake of destruction, leading to a realm of conflict, but it's known that passage through that realm leads to somewhere beautiful and peaceful. Ancient sorcerers speak of a world where fairies rule, where wishes are granted and dreams come true, and they have proof. They just need to gesture at their own curses. Imagine, says the archivist with a skin of silver, a world of your own, where you can be as a god and never fear again. That archivist vanishes soon after, but leaves a trail of breadcrumbs for you to follow, should you wish to let temptation seize your soul. It's not a trap. The outside boasts great rewards for those bold enough to seize them, and for many an accursed, that's good enough reason to risk the dangers of reaching it. First example we've got here, the Garden of Unearthly Delights. One of the most commonly discussed realms in the outside is an endless garden some sorcerers refer to as Eden, though outcasts who have visited and returned are quick to dismiss the notion. Some say the garden offers a sun whose rays grant eternal life, fruits that give their eaters strength and virility, smiling, welcoming inhabitants, and animals that talk with the wisdom of the most brilliant sages. Others claim the garden is nothing more than a prison. To step within is to embrace paradise, yes, but you are obliged to give up a part of yourselves. Sometimes a loved one, sometimes a pound of flesh, sometimes just the life of someone the visitor can barely remember. And to leave requires the same punishment, only tenfold, which is perhaps why those outcasts who have emerged from the garden come back so shocked, traumatized, and horrified at their actions. The garden is a fine place to hide, because few predators would follow anyone in. Monsters can sense that the garden isn't for them, but that could just as well be because they know there's no escape for creatures like them that have nothing meaningful to sacrifice. Ooh, I like that one. Okay, that's a cool little concept. Okay, I'm gonna read the last one. We'll start with the possibility library next time, but I want to read one more, and then we'll be done for the day. The Endless Jaunt. This outside realm is the perfect place for meditation and refining one's powers. Ooh, a training ground. At first glance, it appears to be a realm of white, hundreds of miles across, with sparks of energy bursting into life in the deep distance. But it's longer and wider than one thinks. Steadily, this potentially infinite landmass starts populating with structures, people, and familiar locales and objects. The accursed realizes it's a perfect simulation of their memories, their hopes, and their fears. Whether this outside is a mental construct or an organic realm that builds itself based on its inhabitants' thoughts is a matter of much debate. What's clear is that anyone constructed here can be built from nothing into something and can equally be destroyed to be reborn soon after. Likewise, if a building collapses here, one daydream later will see it reform from the dust and masonry. The purpose of this place is unknown, beyond acting as a form of testing ground for accursed visitors. In that respect, it's the perfect simulation suite, as the accursed can use their spells, practice their urges, and let their damnations flow free without repercussion. Or so they think. Even when their victims aren't real, repeatedly slaying the same person, betraying them over and over, or just growing accustomed to inhuman action is enough to alter a mind. Some sorcerers are keen to discover what happens if an accursed remains in this realm until the realm itself wants to remove its intruders. Does it truly offer an endless jaunt without hunger, thirst, or a need for sleep? Is there a reward for remaining there until one reaches the natural end of the jaunt? I love that these places are just places. They're story seeds, they're ideas, they're campaign or arc seeds. And I absolutely love them. I hope if the rest of this document is just that good, good. I will take as many as I can. I love this sort of stuff. Just place ideas, story ideas, weird places, weird spots to go, interesting weirdnesses and stories and stuff like that. That is my jam, and I love that, and I cannot wait to get back to more of that tomorrow. But for today, folks, actually I should leave that up because it's getting dark around here. It's that time of year. There we go. Use the PDF as a little bit of light. Folks, as always, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Thank you for, as always, bearing through the many distractions and side quests that we go through. And I hope that I will see you here tomorrow as we continue checking out the rest of Curseborne. We've got 2 days to go. One of them is Halloween, and I think we can make it. I think we can reach the end of our jaunt. Will not be endless. Our jaunt has an end in sight, and that end is on Thursday. So before we get there, though, tomorrow, Wednesday, same thing. Tomorrow I will most likely be starting a little late. Instead of 2 p.m., hi, sweetheart. Hi, kitty. Hi. Is your claw stuck on my coat? Yes, it is. There we go. There we go. Tomorrow I will actually be starting at 2:30 because I have a small appointment that I will need to be at before that, so I will not be able to start. I mean, I technically could, but I will have like 15 minutes before the end of one appointment and then start in the stream. And I think giving myself a few more. So expect the stream closer to 2:30 tomorrow. And we can always just keep it going a little bit later. We can go to 5:30 tomorrow to make sure that we get through everything. But yeah, with that in mind, I am looking forward to seeing y'all tomorrow. Have a good day, Phoenix. Have a good day, Struggle Bus. And yes, there is kind of a trigger. It doesn't show up on this screen. Or does it? Does it? There is one that's like the more you know. It's not officially Esme, but it is a cat. The TMYK one, but I don't know if the TMYK works on this screen. I mean, it'll work. There we go. It does work on this screen. I'll see if I can at some point Photoshop actual Esme into that animation instead of just random cat. Anyway, folks, thanks so much for that. Have a great evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time it is in your place. And we will see you tomorrow, 2:30 p.m. EST. Have a good one, folks. Bye-bye.